Microphone check. Mic and check. Good morning. Happy Wednesday, everybody. It's great to be here on Wednesday, wherever you are, however you may be listening. Thanks for making us part of your day today. Sorry, I didn't realize I hadn't changed a setting. There's two settings I have.
People are all right.
God damn it. What do you want to do about this one? How did that happen?
I don't. You just opened up a new one. You didn't grab the one I scheduled. It's fine.
You don't want to just start it. Everybody go back to bed. Let's all go back to bed. We'll reconvene in a few hours.
Yeah, I'll fix it like I do everything else. I'll fix it.
Oh my God. I got my daughter to school on time today. I was like pretty close to on time with this. I was so prepared for everything and then just fucking flopped the live stream today. That's a tough start. So, hey everybody. It's good to see those of you who have found us here. Sorry about that. It's my bad. We'll wait for everybody else to get here, I guess, to start the show. Jen, are you fixing everything on the back end?
Of course I am. So
thank you. Your son was not on time today. That's my the ladies that check in late students at my daughter's school are so passive aggressive about how often my daughter is late. And for the record, I believe I'm on time far more often than when she's with her mom. So it's not entirely my fault. But last time I was there, they like grabbed her. They're like, "Do you want us to take you to class?" And she's like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Yeah, we know. We're pretty familiar with her process by now." And I felt like that was passive aggressive. So.
Well, I mean, if they can, if they're used to it, I guess.
What was that? What was that small talk right there?
I'm
you weren't listening.
Yeah. I'm multitasking. Seeing what you broke. I have to fix the thumbnail and re-upload shit, so I'm working on it.
I know that response. That's the response when I didn't really listen to what the person I was talking to just said. That was beautiful. I think it's fair for them to be passive aggressive. I would probably do it. It sucks. Like they have to then they have to like walk my daughter to class and stop doing their job for a minute and go walk her to class. I'd be passive aggressive too. I think that's fair. They can get banned. Probably not.
Yeah, I could see it. It makes sense. So.
She's not. Am I crazy? She's
I'm
not
listening.
listening.
I'm listening. And for the most part, I've got everything fixed. I'm listening. So.
How's your
life?
How's dating going?
It's going. It's not something. It's a pain. I like the whole getting to know people and shit.
Yeah, you have to listen and
rules and yeah.
I didn't do that. I just moved. I just decided. This might surprise you. I would just move fast. I'm like, can we just meet, please? Like before we talk about everything.
Well, so I realized, and this is I don't think I asked enough questions like about him. So like I think I kind of realized that I didn't ask enough. So I need to.
What do you mean? What do you mean you're killing it? You didn't have to do anything different. It wasn't hurting your numbers.
No, but I mean not necessarily looking just to.
Shut up, Cranberry. Shut up. Shut up, Jen. Shut up, Jen. You both can shut up.
I mean, that'd be very Mormon of you.
Yeah, so. Not what I thought you were gonna say. All right,
that makes sense. So.
My Mormon marriage, it was like I think more than a year in. It took more than a year to get engaged, which by Mormon standards that's 10 years in normal people world. Like that's a long time.
You guys do that fast. It's weird.
It was probably more than a year too, and I think it was 2 years, almost 2 years before we got married. So that's pretty good for a Mormon.
I was my husband and I were together for 8 years before we got married, and then he went and died on me. So that was.
Checked out. Jen wasn't asking him enough questions about himself.
Guess not.
Have you ever? You don't. Do you ask many questions about me? I don't know if you do that. I'm so glad. I don't think you do, and I think that's why I like you. Is you don't make me talk about myself.
I mean, I guess in some
You're
ways
just
it's like
passive
I don't
aggressive too. Sorry.
I don't I guess I don't want to necessarily want to pry too much. So this chatter is boring. Oh, bad
Are
Bambi.
you the
You'll be able
chatter?
to see dumb. You'll be able to see dumb shit. See your dumb shit here soon. Don't worry. You'll
She's
make an
talking
ass
about
out of
you.
you.
Are you the chatter?
I don't know. I don't really care.
Who's the chatter? How dare you?
His name is Bad Bambi.
I see that.
So
Mm,
he never says
bad,
anything
bad
substantive.
Bambi. Sounds like a
But yeah,
sounds like a grinder profile. If we're being honest.
it does. That's fair.
Which again, actually, if you have a grinder profile, you may want to steal Bad Bambi. That seems like if you're into the sub game, I think it would do a really good job expressing your intentions. So while we're talking about
Tell us
dating,
more about what you know about being submissive.
I work with you. Everybody sees it on a daily basis.
Fair,
Yeah,
fair.
I I don't. I hate to be I hate to be a fence sitter on this, but I don't find that I am either of those two things. I don't feel a need to be submissive or dominant. I'm just a lover boy, Jen. I'm just a big old sweetheart.
Gross.
Just sweet. That's all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's a switch.
Just what is a switch? Probably I could be. Yeah. Look, I'm open minded. How about that?
Got it. So, but yeah. So, fun fact. So, I have to take Spawn to the doctor later, which is annoying. She tell me if this makes sense to anybody. She said that she was hanging out with her friends one day, and they gave her a hug, and she ended up rolling her ankle. She seems to hurt herself,
From a
and
hug?
I don't know how the fuck she does that. I don't know. It doesn't
She's
make
got to
any
drink
sense to me.
She needs some calcium.
Something.
That's crazy. A hug rolls her ankle. I had my daughter at the trampoline park, and it was her and her friend, and then her friend's mom came to pick her up, and I was like, "Girls, your mom's here," and they just beelined it to me, and her friend went just head on collision with a boy, like at a 45-degree angle. They both went down hard, and it took a long time to get both of them. I felt like that was my fault. I've been feeling bad about that.
It probably was in somewhere. So.
But it wasn't a hug. It was a high-speed hug.
Yeah, to the forehead.
Bad Bambi, it is actually not homophobic to say that sounds like a good grinder profile name. I think that is I thought that was a compliment. We have no problem with anybody being gay. That's fine. Love that. A lot of our audience is gay. A lot of them are bi. A lot of our MAGA fans are asexual, which is cool. We're fine with that too. No, I wasn't trying. We weren't trying to insult you, Bambi. I was not trying to.
I was insulting you about your being boring.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to. I wasn't trying to insult you by insinuating that. I was saying that like it's a clever name for that, and I also knew that it would bother you that somebody might like say that you're gay. But that's your homophobia, right? Like if somebody calls me gay, I don't care, but it bothers you, so that would be your phobia. I'm not afraid of being gay.
I'm not flagged him, but he said I am GA. I'm assuming he forgot the Y.
You are gay? Oh, great. Then what are you upset about? Then that's if I told anybody, if I said, let's see, Sensei Mia, if I said that was a great Tinder profile name, would that be offensive then? So, boy, we are just searching to be offended today, aren't we, Bad Bambi?
I hope he stretched before that reach, because I'd hate for him to pull a hammy or something.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Well, you ready to get started?
Yeah, we can get going.
All right.
Keep going. All right, everybody. So we're finally started after tech issues. So glad everyone's here to join us on the right stream. Since we ran through 3 of them already this morning. Those who have been here before, we don't remind mind the new ones that we've got our gift goal that we need to hit each day, so that we can keep doing this. We do this Monday through Friday, 9:30 to 1 Pacific time. If you are not already subscribed, please hit that subscribe button and join us over on YouTube. If you're not a paid member or subscriber on either of the channels, you might want to do that, because we have members only events. We've got one coming up later on today. When we're watching Company Retreat. So what did we determine?
No, no, I didn't look.
How many episodes
I think that there's 9 total. I think there's 8 episodes, and then like they do a finale where they bring everybody in, and it's like or maybe it's like, I don't know what you call it. Like when the show's done, like a recap. Would you call it a recap? You know, like what they do on The Bachelor at the end when they bring everybody back.
Right?
A what?
You said a reunion?
Yeah, I think there's something like that. It's episode 9.
Got it.
I think. But maybe you could check.
All right, I'll look later.
All right.
So, but if you're a paid member or subscriber on any of the channels, you can join us for that members only event in Discord. I'll be creating the event for that here shortly. So that'll be at 6 p.m. Pacific time. Hopefully I'll be back, but I have to take Spawn to the doctor at 4:15 or 4:30. So.
All right.
Maybe I might not be right on time, so you'll have plenty of time to make up reasons why I'm not there.
The main reason I won't be there is Jen forgot to remind me.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, if you guys disagree with RTP and you'd like to have a conversation, you can do so by sending me a message on Discord. My Discord username is the same as the Venmo, so Jen with 2 N's, Deb with 2 B's, the number 1. I didn't forget, Casey. I guess I did forget. No, you're right. I did forget.
That's a good point. Oh, yeah. Take that. I didn't forget.
I was sitting on my couch and I forgot.
I got home early to do it because the clock in my car is an hour fast. So I was like, oh, no, I got to get home.
That's, I'm glad your clock was wrong, I guess. Anyway, so that's how you can come and have a conversation. Send me a message on Discord. Like I said, it's the same as the Venmo username. Jen with 2 N's, Deb with 2 B's, the number 1. I can bring you on. So check out the link tree in the bio. We're on most social media platforms. We've got merch. She's on Cameo. We upload these episodes to Spotify. And if we can knock out the gift goal sooner rather than later, that always makes things less stressful for me, which I would appreciate. So
I missed this earlier. Niner Suck 92 said, I'll fix you on the back end. I think that was directed at me. Hope so.
Possibly. It's kind of funny. There was 2 people in general that were in YouTube. I think, what time did I get on? Like, turn my computer on. I ended up coming on, like, getting started. And someone was in here at like 8 o'clock, 7:30, 8 o'clock crying.
Whoa, we were.
Maybe they didn't find a new stream. But
oh, sorry. I saw somebody was complaining about me. There was a bunch of comments from the same user this morning when I woke up. It's like they were having a bad night. How long's it been since a MAGA called in? Maybe a couple weeks. Somebody was supposed to come in yesterday. Are they coming back today?
I told them when the show was, and that, send them a message me. So we'll see.
Bambi, are you still upset, bud? We're sorry. I'm sorry if that was insensitive to you and you felt that was homophobic. I want you to know that was not my intention, and I'm very, very sorry. And I hope that your day gets better. Love you. Sorry if it came off that way. Not my intention, but I'll do better from now on. I'll think before I speak a little bit better.
Jay's very sorry.
Yeah. So. All right.
All right. Well, we can get going. What kind of water does a cat drink?
What kind of water does a cat drink?
Uh-huh.
I don't know.
Purified water.
Stupid. Bad Bambi. All right. We're going to let Bad Bambi get it out. Okay. I should check it. Got it. I'll check it. I'll check my privilege just for my own sake. I'll do that for my own sake. It isn't a good look. Okay. Thank you. I'll consider that. Are there any other feelings we need to work through before I play this video of Donald Trump being an asshole? Or can we go? We're good? All right, great. Donald Trump's an asshole, and he's an asshole in this clip for one very specific reason. He's also a sociopath. He's also a narcissist. He's one of the most vile human beings ever to exist, and I don't think any of that is hyperbole. This is the Indiana football team who won the national championship, which is crazy. It's still crazy to say a football team from Indiana won a college football national championship, but here they are. And their star quarterback, Fernando Mendoza, said he wasn't going to come to the White House, said he started OTAs, and took a very non-political stance in giving his answer. I think he even said something along the lines of like, I wouldn't share those political beliefs. So he's not here. And so so naturally he can't speak for himself. And Trump is such a fucking sociopath that Trump now has had to create additional distractions for Fernando Mendoza because he said this.
Skill. They're skilled people. This season was also historic because starting quarterback Fernando Mendoza. Now, the reason he's not here, he was so nice he called, because he has actually, JD's a big fan of ours. You wouldn't believe it because he didn't show up. I'm not.
Yeah, you also might not believe it because he's never publicly said it. And perhaps he is a fan of Donald Trump. Perhaps he's not. Perhaps he's blowing smoke up Donald Trump's ass. But now that you have said that he told you he is a fan, now he has to answer that question when he's just trying to play football. He didn't need to be dragged into this mess. He doesn't have to go to the White House. He answered the question nicely, apolitically. He's the quarterback of his team, which is like the face of a franchise. Did everything he could to separate himself from politics. And Trump's like, no, I'm going to bring him in. Yeah, so fucking what? Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, everything's politics to you. I know you're not going to understand this. This is a fucked up thing for him to do.
Happy, but that's okay. The reason he didn't, because he's at spring training, right?
Correct.
And I actually said,
not spring training.
You really let him. He's got to win, and I think he's going to win pretty early, Coach. Right? You think pretty good?
Well, time will tell.
He's going to be a good one. Time will tell. A lot of people said they're going to win, but I think he will. No, he's been great, and he's at spring training, like his first day or something. I said,
it's not. It's training camp, but that's baseball. He's got the wrong sport here.
You better go there. But he became Indiana's first. Otherwise, if I didn't do that, I believe me, I wouldn't have even talked about him. I would have not. If he was not here for other reasons, like he didn't like Trump or he didn't want to come, I wouldn't have even mention him. I'd go through the whole. I'd talk about how great. I wouldn't even mention the quarterback's name.
Oh, interesting. Just going to admit it? Just see publicly admitting, I'm only bringing this up because he said nice things about me on the phone that he's never said publicly. And now he has to go answer these questions. I know that that's for you guys. Like, there's nothing you would love more for MAGA than to be standing in front of a podium and someone's just like, tell me how much you love Trump. And you would immediately just whip your dick out and ramble for an hour about all the ways Donald Trump makes you come. But most people don't feel that way, especially when they're a football player trying to lead a franchise, understanding that like they get paid with the fan base and that the fan base turning on you can be a problem. It can cause problems in contract negotiations. The last thing you want to do as a quarterback of a football team is take a political stance. If you don't believe me, ask Colin Kaepernick, who white nationalist and fragile bitches ran out of the NFL despite being one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. And a bunch of absolute fucking morons now in the chat are going to be like, actually, he played himself out of a job. He wasn't any good. This guy doesn't know what he's talking about. And I do, and we're not going to have that conversation. Unless you want to come up and have that conversation with me, then I'll gladly pull up the stats and show you how good Colin Kaepernick was and how much money he should have been offered. And you'll explain those away so that you can continue to be racist little thin-skinned bitches. However, Donald Trump's an asshole for doing this.
But he's a great guy, actually, and he is actually a big fan of what we're doing for our country.
That was just petty of me, but fuck that guy. If you think for 1 second that Donald Trump gives a flying fuck about any other human being on Earth, you're out of your goddamn mind. He has never shown compassion or care for anybody. He just likes you as long as you're complimenting him, which is that's kind of a little bit of the theme of the show today, is that years from now, the history books will remember Donald Trump as an actual psychopath, like an actual lunatic who was very publicly losing his already busted brain in real time. And that somehow millions of Americans were like, no, this is normal. This is totally normal. That's how he'll be remembered historically. We're in the cult stage right now. A lot of people thought David Koresh had it together. A lot of people thought Jim Jones had it together. The Jim Jones? I think it's Jim Jones. A lot of people think Joseph Smith really wasn't just like a charlatan treasure digger, but I digress. Let's look at some polling numbers for Donald.
About inflation, we've been talking about the president's approval on it, which is not good. Our new poll shows that people are very unhappy with the economy, with inflation, with this handling of inflation. On a historical perspective, though, how much don't they like?
Yes, Sandra.
How he's handling inflation.
These are the ugliest numbers I have ever seen on inflation. And it's not just one poll, Johnny Berman. It's many polls. Just take a look here. President's net approval on inflation. The 5 worst polls ever for any president. They all belong to Donald John Trump, and they have all occurred in the last month. The CNN poll, one of them.
Ox Black say, oh, come on, he loves his daughter. He would date her after all. Yeah, I don't think he dates people that he loves. I think he dates people that he wants to fuck. I think, and so I agree with you that he would date his daughter, but I don't think that's love. I think that's Donald Trump being a sick man.
48 points below water on the net approval rating. So what we're talking about here is the worst numbers ever in multiple polls now belong to the President of the United States, Donald Trump. It is a record, simply put, you do not want to have.
Top 5, and he owns all 5. That's incredible stuff. He's doing really, really good stuff.
Worst polls ever.
Joe Biden.
I was laughing at some of the Trumpers here that are like, Dems are going down. Like, that's what you guys have left. Dems are dumb. Dumbocrats. Can we just admit that this isn't going well, please? You don't have to say that Democrats are doing a good job. I'll actually agree with you. We'll all probably agree with you that Dems are doing a bad job too. We can all agree that their approval ratings are in the toilet. Can we just both agree on numbers that are obviously true? That Donald Trump fucking sucks, and the polls show that he fucking sucks, and that also Democrats don't do anything. Could we just come together on that? I feel like if you're going to force Democrats to admit that their entire Congress does nothing, you guys have to admit that Donald Trump's a crazy person. I think that's the middle ground we need to come to. You would find a lot of middle ground with Democrats if you were willing to admit that Donald Trump's a crazy person. Like, how many of you have MAGA family where if they came to you and they're like, hey, I want to talk about politics, and you're like, cool. And they're like, what? I want to talk about ideas. And you're like, all right, great. We need to agree to some ground rules first. And you're like, all right. And they're like, I need you to admit that the Democrats don't do anything. You're like, dope. I need you to agree that Donald Trump's a crazy person. And then you just move. Obviously he's a crazy person. And then we could talk about ideas again. But the problem is we can't ever talk about ideas because Donald Trump is such a crazy person that he takes like 8 different sides of every argument. He takes 8 different positions. So you never actually know what he's thinking. And then you point out that you never know what he's thinking. And then we get stuck defending whether or not Donald Trump's a crazy person. You should just admit that. There's no scenario where this isn't a crazy person. Why can't you admit? Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, why can't you admit that? Why won't you concede that in order to just talk about how to fix the country? It does seem like Donald's more important to you than fixing anything in this country.
Biden's not in there?
Joe Biden's
Jimmy Carter's not in there?
Jimmy Carter's not in there.
All Donald Trump?
All Donald Trump. The 5 worst ever belong to this gentleman on this side of the screen.
All right. So to what extent are Americans, saying that it's because of Donald Trump that they're seeing these numbers, and how has that sort of changed over time?
Yeah, the reason why the inflation numbers are so bad for Donald Trump in terms of net approval rate is because they are blaming Donald Trump for the high inflation.
Midwest says, sends $1, says, can I borrow $5? I don't know, maybe. I might send you $5 later. That's kind of funny. I think it's funny that you sent me $1 to ask for $5. That's pretty good.
I mean, just look at this and compare it to term number 1. Say Trump's effect on the cost of living now that he has increased it in their communities. We're talking 77% of Americans.
Thanks, Digital Warrior. Appreciate that.
That Donald Trump has, in fact, increased the cost of living in their community. Promises made by Donald Trump in the minds of the American people are not promises kept by Donald Trump. Because look back in 2024, did the Americans believe that he hurt them when it came to the cost of living in term number 1? Just 40% of Americans said that. We now have nearly double that, saying that, in fact, when it comes to the cost of living, that Donald Trump's policies have increased it in their communities. No wonder he has the 5 worst polls on inflation of all time when it comes to net approval rating, because the American people blame the President of the United States.
That seems bad. 77% seems like a high number of people who think that Trump's increased their cost of living. It also seems low. I would love to meet the 23% of people who are saying no to this.
For, in fact, the increase in the cost of living.
Now, none of this might matter.
Lost my uncle to that conversation this spring. Donald J. Trump is nuts. Yeah, it's crazy. You guys have to. You can never talk about finding middle ground with anybody until you admit that Donald Trump's a crazy person. Because otherwise we can't have the conversation. There's no policy we can talk about. Because all the policy will be from you is just that like Dem's bad. And Bad Me, I see you still chatting, and I know you got big feelings. One of you should come up and talk to me at some point. You should get up here and have a real conversation about what your beliefs are. That's what I would really like to know from all of you. What do you actually believe? What do you actually care about? And if you care about those things, like, have you ever thought of how to enact those things? Or have you ever walked through like the policy that you support and how that would work? When we showed that Graham Plattner video the other day, the reason I showed that is you had a registered Republican at the end be like, I'm going to register as a Democrat so I can vote for you. Why? It's like, because when they walked through the policies of what was hurting them in their town in Maine, it was obvious that Graham Plattner had a better plan. But one of you guys should do that at some point. One of you should get out of your comfort zone, stop dick riding Donald Trump, and come up here and talk to me about what it is that you think you're supporting. And if you're even supporting the right people. I would argue every one of you, if you were honest, would come up here and leave the conversation being a progressive. I think every one of you, given the opportunity to go through policy, would side with AOC and Bernie Sanders far more than you would side with any Republican. That's the challenge here. But you got to be good faith about it. I think I could convince any of you to vote for AOC as long as I didn't say AOC. If it was just like a hypothetical candidate, like no political affiliation at all and no name to it, then I think that if we compared what she would run on versus anybody that you have voted for, I think you would side with AOC if you just didn't know. There's a way to do that probably. You put all their ideas together and you just go through the list of ideas, mix them all up, and ask which ones they're fans of. I think most people will come out very progressive. What's AOC? She is a triggering word or a triggering saying for, just say it to Republicans and you'll see. Just say AOC.
If people didn't think that prices were a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday, obviously, Donald Trump had that, little press conference, that the little huddle going on outside in which he essentially said when it came to Iran, the financial concerns aren't for me, right? It's not something I'm thinking about. Well, for the American people, they are absolutely thinking about economy and the cost of living, and they are thinking at it much more so than they did back in January. In January, it was just
It's a politician, Kristen. Sorry, I wasn't trying to be dismissive there. I thought you legitimately knew. She's a politician. She's a congresswoman from New York. Her name's Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, so it's AOC for short. And she's very progressive.
42%. Now look at this. The majority of Americans say the top issue is, in fact, the economy and the cost of living at 55%. And more than that, it's majorities of those who lean Democratic as well as those who lean Republican. Republicans, Democrats, united on.
There we go. Your police out don't know how to use critical thinking to get past the misspelled word. My brain doesn't break over your. I'm still smart enough to find out what I don't know what that is. That's probably not for me. You must be arguing with somebody in the chat. All right, let's talk about the economy right now. Here's Fox Business with sounding plenty alarmed about our new consumer pricing index.
Up, not upbeat. So consumer prices rose 3.8% annually in April. That is the highest since May of 2023.
Whoops. That's not good. And you're feeling that. So let's talk about that. How do we fix that? Let's engage with the chat today. How would we, if we're being serious about inflation, how would we bring this number down? We could bring down gas prices, right? Cool. How can we bring down gas prices? What's the quickest way to bring down gas prices? More tariffs? Yeah, that'll fix it. Quickest way to bring down gas prices, whether it's your belief or not, would be to leave Iran right now, leave the Strait of Hormuz, and allow that to open back up. That would bring down gas prices immediately. Use our own fucking oil? Yeah. We'd have to build refineries, though, so we can't do that quickly. Yeah, you could nationalize oil. Stop driving. Yeah, but the quickest thing we could do to bring down gas prices would be to leave Iran right now, right? That's number one. What else could we do? How else do you bring down inflation? Give people access to more capital, right? Or not necessarily capital, more income. How do you do that? Well, you could do single payer healthcare. You could start to lower the costs of people's healthcare year over year, just like on average, because some people would pay more, but most people would pay less. So you could bring that down. That means more money in more people's pockets. You want more money in more people's pockets rather than more money in one person's pocket. More money isn't the same when it comes to lowering inflation. Like just more money circulating the economy doesn't necessarily lower inflation. It has to go into the right hands. You need middle class spending to be up. You need small businesses to be able to thrive and compete. So you're going to need like strong laws to make sure that monopolies can't operate in a way that small businesses can't. You're going to have to offer some sort of protection, raising the minimum wage, right? You're going to have to make sure that profits are forced down so that you can't just undercut every one of your competitors. You get a Doge check, that would work. Yeah. Fix our credit rating. That would be important. Fix our credit rating, then more people would be investing at treasuries at lower rates. That'd be good. Price gouging laws. Yeah, all these things. What are we doing about it, though? Let's talk about what the two parties are doing. The Democrats, who have no power, let's be clear about that. There's not a goddamn thing they can do at all. They don't have enough power or votes to get anything done. However, I don't think there's the progressive wing is advocating for policies like we're talking about. Moderate Democrats are just sitting on their hands and going, "Look, Trump's bad," and the Republicans are saying Joe Biden, and that's legitimately their entire argument is Joe Biden. So in this scenario, if you're going to vote for somebody, if you are going to be honest with yourself, because you want politicians that get things done, right? Republicans' plan is to blame Joe Biden. Moderate Democrats' plan is to blame Donald Trump. Progressive Democrats advocate for policies that have shown in other countries and in this country to bring down inflation and to increase wealth in the middle class. And we can't get you to vote for progressives. Why? Because AOC was a bartender. Bernie Sanders calls himself a democratic socialist. Ilhan Omar is Muslim. See how this works in this country? They get you focused on somebody's identity or a buzzword that you don't like, and then you don't recognize who's actually advocating for policy here. We can fix all this shit, but not with the Republicans and not with the Democrats. You need progressive Democrats.
Inflation is now rising faster than paychecks. Wages are up 3.6% in the past year. Most of the increase came from energy. This is an energy story, up almost 8.
That's crazy. See what I mean? Ilhan 30 mil Omar. See, Dead Man Lives, you're the same way. This is what I'm talking about. You don't care about policy. You're going to make personal attacks. And then we'd get stuck in this argument that Donald Trump has made billions of dollars. And then you'd be like, well, I don't care when it's Donald Trump. And then we'd be right back where we were, where the people that you're supporting don't advocate for anything. MAGA just wants to blame Joe Biden. Democrats want to blame Donald Trump. Progressive Democrats want to get something done. You don't want to vote for progressive Democrats who will get things done because you heard a story that Ilhan Omar made $30 million. Do you see how dumb that logic is? What if she did? What if she did make $30 million? Why wouldn't you still vote for her then for the policies if everybody's making money? If Donald Trump's making money, Republicans are making money, everybody's making money, right? So if they're all cheating, wouldn't you then say, well, I can't use that argument, so I'm gonna vote for the person who has policy? Let's look at the policies. Oh, moderate Democrats have none. Republicans have, or I guess they have blame Trump. Republicans have blame Biden. Who has any policy? Oh, the progressive Democrats, Ilhan Omar. See how this isn't a real argument for you? It's just your way to dismiss somebody so that you don't have to learn new stuff. It's what you do with all progressives. It's what you do with socialism. It's what you do with democratic socialism. It's the reason that so many of you don't know. Did you know that Mamdani wiped out the deficit now? He's basically wiped out the deficit in New York City. He's made childcare free for children, I think 3 to 6. We're opening up those government-run grocery stores. When public services couldn't shovel the snow in New York, he paid people $30 an hour and they had the snow cleared in like 24 hours and people made money. He's just out there getting shit done, and you don't know that, and you won't know that because the only time you ever hear anything about him on your news source is for it's somebody to say like, "Oh, one of the members of his staff is a communist and he's a socialist." Bad. And then we just get stuck here arguing nonsense. I think you should be. I think you should be better about that. I think you guys should start thinking about this administration in terms of how they are helping you, in terms of like what they're doing to help you in the future, for your family's future. I think you'd have a hard time making an argument that something that's happening right now from our government is making your life better and not worse.
18%. Gasoline specifically up 28%, airfare up 20%. You can see there transportation and clothing rising more than 4% each, shelter up 3.3%. Up, not upbeat. So
Not good. Jeff Bezos' parents donated $100 million from Mondani's child care thing. Did they really? Boy, did they have stake in his company? Did he give them stock for, I guess, because I think they funded it early, right? And that much, my brokerage account's kicking ass. Cool. There's nothing. This is a political podcast. I don't know why you're talking about your brokerage account right now. Here's what Kevin Hassett says, though. When Kevin Hassett looks at these new polls and he hears that the American people don't approve of Donald Trump, here's what he sees instead.
That President Trump has sort of taken every problem on earth and got 100% at fixing it. And I think that can be stressful for people to see so much change going on. But the bottom line is that in the end, when we look at what happened...
They're frustrated because he's solving 100% of the problems. And that's frustrating. I heard 8, but it was 12 shortfall. I don't know what you're talking. What are we talking about? What's the number I missed? Digital. Let me know what number you think I missed on. All right. Here's Doug Burgum. This is the new go-to line for like. Do you care if you have the lowest gas prices in the world or not? Or do you care if you can afford gas prices? I would say we should probably argue that what most Americans care about is whether or not they can afford it. And Americans are struggling to afford gas, so they trot out this freaking, what is that smile? This oil industry plant to spin it this way.
Your thought about suspending the gas tax to take 18 cents off the gallon?
Well, this is one of many ideas that President Trump and the Trump administration is pursuing. But again, we should just start with the fact that the U.S. right now is the most energy secure, most energy affordable nation in the world. And
yeah, we fucked up the whole world. That's the argument here. We have a dumb war that is unwinnable, that's costing us billions, and it's fucking up everybody across the world. The only people benefiting from it are just so happen to be the people who gave Trump the most money. Isn't that weird? It's like the Zionists and the oil companies. The people who gave Trump the most money, they're doing great. And who else is doing great? The tech companies that gave Trump a bunch of money, watching their stock prices skyrocket. Isn't that weird? How all of us that didn't give money to him, not doing so well. All of the people who gave him the most money, killing it. Just absolutely killing it. Do you think about that ever? Do you think about that fact? Do you think that's just a coincidence? That the billionaires who paid him the most money are making record profits while you suffer? Do you really think that's a coincidence? He tried to do it for us. It just so happens that the people who benefit are exactly the people that were giving him the most money. It's got to be a coincidence, though, because he definitely loves us, and he's definitely thinking about us.
President Trump playing a geopolitical game, which includes, Venezuela stopping China from buying cheap Venezuelan Iranian oil. The work that he's doing, to build a coalition around the world, whether it's opening the strait or on critical minerals. Heading into the summit.
It's a bold strategy to build coalitions around the world by getting every fucking country to hate you. It's a hell of a strategy. The key to good relationships is make sure that they fucking hate you and don't trust you. It's a bold strategy by the Trump administration. Illusion said gas jumped 40 cents last night. God damn, 18 cents. It really jumped 40 cents last night? That's a real number? Jesus. Jamar said, I mean, if we're just asking for stuff, I'll take 20 and a blowjob. I'll pray about it for you. We'll think about it. Dolphin said, this is going to take a couple donuts. Trump is a malignant narcissist with sociopathic tendencies. Psychopaths can mimic emotions perfectly to exploit others. Sociopaths find it harder to blend in and often appear clearly agitated or on edge. And OCD Tile Works says Trump is keeping the strait closed on purpose. His oil baron friends are making bank sitting on those ships. Yeah, it's all Trump's donors that are making money. It's crazy to watch MAGA in real time. Just be like, no, this is good. This is for us. This is what I voted for.
This week, President Trump's in the strongest position of any U.S. leader ever going into a discussion with China. And again,
that's debatable. We're going to get to that. Trump is going to visit China, and that's on the outline. I would hotly contest the idea that no president has ever had a better position than Donald Trump going to negotiate with China. Unless by better position, they mean like receiving position, because Trump's going to have to bend over to China here.
You take a look at the economic numbers, the United States happening right now that came out last week. The U.S. economy is strong. China's economy is faltering. It's just a great spot, and President Trump's leadership is putting us in a great place to come out on top this year in the very near future.
So
my understanding was the China visit fell through, and then they rescheduled it, and he's going. I can't remember. As of this morning, they were still talking about it, so I assume he's still going. Anybody know? He's holding 20% of China's discounted oil. Listen, I get you. We'll get to it later. China has far more leverage than Trump does. Far more leverage. China can handle 20%. China has to outlast Trump. Iran has to outlast Trump. And I think you're significantly overestimating the American people's willingness to continue to pay sky-high gas prices. What China has that Trump doesn't have, what Iran has that Trump doesn't have, is they have like a full-on authoritarian control. There's not a whole lot you can do in China. There's not a whole lot you can do in Iran. There's enough people here who will turn on Donald Trump. He is the one that's running out of time. They can hold off, and it will hurt their own people. But them hurting their own people doesn't hurt their power structure near as much as it would here in the United States when Trump's hurting his own people. Yeah, he's in China, right? Didn't he go to this morning or yesterday? Yeah, thank you. That's what I thought. I'm like, did they cancel it last minute? All right. No one wins in a war with China, unfortunately. Yeah, I mean, it's not even a war. There is no war with China. It's just a negotiation. Trump needs China to put pressure on Iran and try and get Iran to end this war and agree to things. And I think Trump thinks he has some leverage. And we'll show you like some of the leverage that he thinks he has. I don't think he's in a good position, but we'll get to that here in a minute. Larry Kudlow then had on Kevin Hassett and wanted to talk about the inflation data. And again, just the spin is getting pathetic at this point. I don't think anybody's buying this. And even if people are buying this, who cares? You can't defend this war. So any bit of this inflation, eventually people are just not going to care anymore, and Trump loses his support.
Certainly on the surface, you got to admit, today's CPI was
China's trade maxing.
a lousy number, 0.6%. Core ex-food and energy still up 0.4%. So the 12-month change is 3.8%, and the core change is 2.8%. What does an NEC director say on a day like today when the CPI is coming out so poorly?
Well, first of all, this is a temporary energy shock, and that's very clearly in the data. And
yeah, self-inflicted temporary energy shock that was supposed to be done in 3 to 4 weeks. We're at week 6 or 7 now. 7.
You know, so the history of this is that people at the Federal Reserve and elsewhere tend to peer through energy shocks and use core CPI to forecast the future, not the energy shock data. And so that's really, if you're thinking about like what's going to happen over the next 6, 8, 10 months, then the best way to forecast that is movement in core. Now, core did blip up a little bit in this.
This was my favorite part. So he's saying You really shouldn't look at necessarily just like inflation without core. You should look at core inflation, and historically, core inflation is not affected long term through these energy. What do you call it? Energy blips or energy moments? What did he call it? Anyways, but what core is doing? Core is going up. So what that shows is that core inflation is going to continue to rise as long as this war keeps going. And so every day that they don't have an answer for when is this war going to end is another day Americans wake up to more inflation and higher gas prices. And I don't know how much time they have left. That's why, again, China and Iran, in my opinion, have so much more leverage to end this. And if I were Iran, I wouldn't negotiate right now. I would keep trying to get Trump in a worse position.
Not nearly as much as the top line because of the temporary shock. But the reason it blipped up was a technical matter.
Do we want America to be weak in war, though? I hope not. It's kind of sounding like, yeah, we don't want them to be weak in war, which is why they need to leave. They need to walk away. Otherwise, like, they're just staying there and hurting us at the same time. It's not that important for the United States to flex. Everybody knows the kind of arsenal we have. Everybody knows that we can wipe them off the face of the planet with nukes. There's no reason to sit there and posture and flex at this point. Get the fuck out of there. Every day we're there makes us look more and more weak. And it's turning our allies against us, and it's turning like potential allies against us, and it's giving our enemies leverage.
Dealing with the way they price housing, and if you exclude housing, core was 0.2, just what it was last month, and it'll be, so it's basically looking like it's holding steady core.
Trying to get this dollar train going. Yeah, I think it's a bad take, Bad Bambi. I think it's a really fucking bad take to say what you're getting out of this conversation is that people are excited for the United States to lose. I think that's a deliberate misunderstanding of what people are saying. Yes, people want Trump to fail publicly, because we want him gone because he's an idiot. So we're going to bring this up repeatedly. But who cares? What if people were rooting for the United States to lose the war? Why would you focus on that? Who cares? People can think whatever the fuck they want. This is America. We will lose a war to Iran or China. We will. They have the leverage. It's dumb. But like, this is just one of those things that gets frustrating in dealing with MAGA. Like, it seems like you don't want to discuss the actual topic here. The actual topic here is what's right for America, and you're busy criticizing the people in the chat and interpreting their feelings. This is why we get stuck, because when Trump is obviously fucking up, this is such an obvious fuck up. You are hardwired to not talk about it.
Which is what we expect.
See, you're still saying, why should we lose? No, why don't you care about this? Why aren't you discussing what we should do? Why are you concerned about what people feel?
It's going to happen because people expect this to be a temporary energy shock, and we've seen temporary energy shocks before, and they generally don't feed through to core, which is why they forecast future top-line prices with core, not with the top-line price.
Well, okay.
There we go. And Annette says, trying to get the dollar train going. Appreciate that, guys. Remember, we are crowdfunded. Anything you do to help us knock out that gift goal by the end of the live is greatly appreciated. You said, could you explain where the $4 billion Hochul is sending New York City is coming from, and how reliance on state bailouts is a solution to budgetary problems? Sincerely, I don't know. I don't know exactly where that's coming from. I'd have to look that up. It's not I wouldn't say this is reliance on a state bailout. Mamdani was handed, I think, like a 16. No, it was big. It was a massive budget. Does anyone know what the total number was? I want to say it was 16 billion, but then the number 40 is in my head for some reason. The 12 billion. Okay. 12 billion. Is that right? It's not 16. 12. Okay. He's handed a $12 billion deficit from back-to-back corrupt politicians. So he walks in, and he, like, part of his agenda and part of what he campaigned on requires spending. And then when he went to the state government, and he essentially said, like, look how much New York City is sending to you versus look how much you're sending to us. We're basically paying the bills of all these other towns. And if we have budget shortfalls here, we can't finance the state and our city. And so he negotiated with Kathy Hochul, and he was able to do that. He traded an endorsement for it. And then they're they're acknowledging, yeah, we've been taking from New York City. We're going to send some of this money back to fix your budget problems. I mean, how do you fix the deficit without spending? How do you close that gap without the state giving you some money? I don't think that this shows reliance on state bailouts. Not, at least not from his perspective. It does for New York City as a whole. It looks like that. But he's a legitimately different politician. No other politician was willing to do this, and he used his leverage and he negotiated a good deal. He's a fucking incredible politician. He's fucking great at this. Every one of us should wish that we had somebody like Mamdani running our city, who was legitimately like using leverage correctly, legitimately listening to the people in their city, not just selling out to big corporations. He's one of the, like, I mean, he's famous because, one, he's Muslim, two, he's the mayor of New York, and so that causes all sorts of problems already. Like, you have the biggest city, and then you have a Muslim, so then you got to throw in like the Islamophobia shit. And then he's also labels himself a democratic socialist, so then you're going to add that on top of it because everybody's afraid of the word socialism. But if you just look at his record of what he's actually accomplishing, he's doing a great job. And again, I think this goes back to the conversation we're having earlier. We can't ever get there because people are so stuck on he's a socialist, he's Muslim, whatever it might be. But he's doing a really, really good job. Hopefully that answers your question there. Joe Dirt said, how is Trump suing himself, the DOJ? Well, he's not suing himself because he's not the Department of Justice. He's not supposed to be. And he's suing the IRS, and the Department of Justice will work out the settlement. But that's pretty crazy. He's going to probably get that money, which is wild. Did I miss any other ones here? Dolphin said, malignant narcissists exhibit grandiosity, paranoia, sadism, and a lack of remorse. Appreciate that. You missed your second one? I'm assuming that was you, Dolphin. They just come in slowly. All right. I guess we could show. Is he asleep or is he not? I just want your opinion. I'm not going to focus on this. We didn't cover it yesterday, but.
In the Perinatal Improvement Collaborative hospitals, we have reduced maternal mortality by 41.5%, which is truly incredible. And this is compared with the 5.9% decline in benchmark hospitals over the same period of time.
Is he sleeping? If he's not asleep, he's droopy as fuck. Then he gets the mic when it's his turn because he doesn't want to listen. Then suddenly this man wakes up. I'm only showing this because this is a madman. He's legitimate. This is not a sane person. You would never allow somebody else in your life to talk like this without going and seeing a medical professional.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable, but I had nothing to do. I blame Doug. They gave it out. I didn't even give it out. So the other people we have, and we have some of the greatest people on earth here tonight, Homeland Security. The Homeland Security team has been unbelievable, I have to tell you. And I came up with an idea that I thought was brilliant. I think all
it's going to be brilliant, guys. Just wait for it.
my ideas are brilliant, actually. But this one, I knew I was brilliant. Then I got a call from Tom Homan. He wasn't thrilled. Where's Tom? Is he here? I love Tom Homan. He said, I'm the greatest president in history. I said, Tom, you can't do better than that? Thank you, Tom. So
it's such a crazy thing to say. First of all, he keeps pointing out random people. He hasn't got to his story yet. He just like keeps being distracted by other stories. Tom Homan, he said I'm the greatest. It's what he always does. It's just what he does now. He'll see somebody in the crowd. He's like, you're doing a great job. You say I'm the greatest. You said I'm the best president ever. I love you for that. I wouldn't love you if you didn't say that. And they're just pretending this isn't like this isn't actually what he thinks. These aren't jokes. It's just honestly what he thinks. He's lost his entire filter, but it gets dumber.
So I get a call from Tom Homan. He didn't like it, but everyone else liked it. I wanted to change the name of ICE, which is a tough name, you know.
I don't know why ICE is it sunk the Titanic, I guess.
To nice, so that when the fake news reports, they said it was.
Sorry.
It was reports. They name, you know, to nice. So
wants to change it from ICE to nice. Why? He did steal your idea, actually, Greggies. He did. Why do you want to call it nice?
So that when the fake news reports, they said it was a nice day with nice. We spent a beautiful day with nice.
Why would they say it was a nice day with nice? We spent it like So you think you have to change all your language now? Nazi immigration customs enforcement. That's closer. That is closer.
I said, you will screw them up so badly they won't know what to do. But they said
No, they'll just call it nice. They'll just say nice nice enforcement. Because they don't all have an IQ of 11, dude. They won't know what to do. If they're calling it nice, they'll have to treat them nicely. Negligible immigration and customs enforcement. I didn't sit on that Titanic joke, honestly. I watched a documentary about the Titanic this weekend. That's how my dating life is going. I watched documentaries about the Titanic. Date like a 70-year-old. Stacy said this timeline is the fucking worst.
the people that worked there didn't like the name as much. I love the name. Hello, Janine. How are you doing? I love Janine.
What is this? He's lost his mind. What is this?
I didn't like the name as much. I love the name. Hello, Janine. How are you doing? I love Janine. One of the greats of all time, in my opinion. I lived in New York when she was the toughest DA.
What is he doing? Crowd work? Doing fucking crowd work at a press conference?
Toughest fair DA. We had some tough ones, but they were crooked DAs, like sort of, I would say, like a dirty cop, like Comey was a dirty cop, you know, and others were dirty cops. She was a clean cop, but she was tough and fair.
That's the president of the United States. That's the guy we're sending to China right now. He's going to negotiate some great deals. And he got on to, back in the Oval, he got on to drug prices. He woke up in the Oval. Sorry. Then started talking about drug prices again and tried to once again convince Americans that math isn't math. And we're all dumb because we do math the way that math is meant to be done, meaning accurately. And he does math in his fun way. And since he does math in his fun way, we're the dumb ones.
We're reducing drug prices by 500, 600%, or 80%, or 75%. Anyway, it's all about the phrasing of the question.
Correct. If you say you reduce the price by 800%, that means you're paying people. And if you phrase it by we're reducing the price by 80%, then that makes fucking sense. And you're not paying somebody. 75% makes sense. But 600 and 800%, that's the phrasing that you should use is we're paying people now to take a drug. He's so stupid. God damn it, he's stupid.
This is by 500, 600%, or 80%, or 75%. Anyway, it's all about the phrasing of the question. And the media doesn't write about it. It's amazing.
I feel like a lot of people have written this story about how you keep saying that you lowered things by 800%. And the news media keeps saying, no, he didn't, because that would mean they're paying you to take the medicine. That's fucking stupid. I think it's been a very well reported story. I'm not sure how much more reporting we should do about it. I feel like I've talked about it too much.
It's so sad. It's so biased. And that's why the media, their approval rating went down just today, 12%. You're at 12%. That's why I got elected with 97% bad stories. I won in a landslide because you have no credibility.
If I were president and I were talking about how I won, I wouldn't blame the media covering me negatively. I would have talked about the ideas that I had to fix the country. This man is a goddamn lunatic. What a psycho thing to say. What an absolutely dumbass thing to say. I won because you're bad. Nice, dude. Way to talk yourself up. I guess you can't talk about your ideas because everything you ran on, you've fucking fumbled. So maybe this is all you've got left. But I would like to be in that position as president and be like, I won the election because I promised to fix this problem, and we are. And he's like, I won because they don't like you very much. Thank you, Jessica. Good to see you. Thanks for joining in our fundraising. Just a reminder, guys, we are crowdfunded, so appreciate you guys helping us knock out that gift goal early and often so that Jen can stay off my ass about it. Sean, thanks for joining the Dollar Train as well. I'll update that number right now.
So I wish the media would write about it. It's probably the biggest story. Certainly it's got to be maybe the biggest story in medicine, if you think. I mean, when you get drug...
The biggest story in medicine is that Donald Trump is paying you to take it. is allegedly the story he wants us to write.
Reduction prices of 60, 70, 80%. A pill that costs $10 in Germany costs in New York City costs $130, $140. Now the pill's going to go to $20 in Germany and $20 for us. So we're going to have the lowest prices anywhere in the world.
They're going to raise. This is how fucked America's healthcare system is. In order for us to have affordable healthcare, because we can't stop billionaires from becoming billionaires off of the backs of paying somebody, like writing a check for people who go see the doctor, our system's so stupid that you have a service where somebody else writes a check to the doctor and you pay an absurd premiums on that. And the only way we can fix this is by forcing other countries to pay more, which, again, good luck. Good luck. You don't have the leverage for that. They collectively bargain as a whole. That's a good point. Now, I'm going to see if it's 20 in Germany and 20 in here. It's not the lowest in the world. It's tied for lowest. That's how bad our system is, that the only way to fix it without doing single payer is to force everybody else in the world to pay more, just so that the greedy fucks who write checks to your doctor can make more billions of dollars. Isn't that cool? What a cool country we live in.
And we can't get a story about it. They won't write it. It's the biggest medical story there is, and we cannot get a story about it. I think I'm going to ask Walmart for a little help if you don't mind. Because you people seem to get very good. You get very good publicity. I think if you could explain the trick, then let me know.
Explaining the trick of Walmart is you exploit labor, you don't allow unions or collective bargaining, you help write legislation that allows you to cut all sorts of corners, you operate with razor thin margins, and you come in and you destroy your competition by undercutting them, and then once they leave, you raise your prices and pay all your employees dog shit money. Please don't talk to Walmart about this. Can we please not ask Walmart for help? I don't want Walmart's input on this. Oslo said, I just gave James Woods the bird in a Target. That's incredible. I hope you filmed that. That's so awesome. I would love to see James Woods anywhere. That's always my hope, is that I'll see somebody I hate out in public. I'd love to run into Ted Cruz one day. Just have a quick discussion on how I feel about Ted Cruz. All right. Here's what we were talking about with Tesla, if you're wondering in the title. Republicans are doing what Republicans do best, never innovate, and then use the power of the government to force us to have shittier products. As Trump says, obviously here, stepping down in China, Bernie Moreno has introduced this piece of legislation.
10% of our entire economy is the auto industry. And worse, these are roving surveillance devices. Right. These things could be
talking about Chinese cars. They're roving surveillance devices.
Accessed remotely. They can be manipulated from Beijing. Imagine allowing these kinds of things all over our roads.
So, Senator, how would you enforce it?
So they don't want Chinese cars because they think that these Chinese manufacturing companies are just going to like turn the cars into, I don't know, like suicide dolphins. This is what Republicans are on now. Hey guys, you can't have Chinese vehicles that you all want that are actually way better and more affordable because China will remotely control them and use them as weapons against us. For sure they would do that. That would make a ton of sense for them because they wouldn't lose. Every human on Earth wouldn't immediately stop buying Chinese electric vehicles. That's for sure what's going to happen.
You block them from coming to America, obviously, but it also goes after the Canada loophole as well, where they go to Canada and then try to drive across the border.
Yeah, our bill completely hermetically seals the United States from any Chinese automobiles. Not just the production, not just the importation, but all the way down the supply chain. I
don't understand why this is like an argument. Any automobile from any other country, you could make this argument about. You know why they're really doing this? Because Tesla is getting absolutely slaughtered by BYD in every way. And American electric vehicle manufacturing is slow. Why? Because this administration is putting an emphasis on gas vehicles. So we're getting absolutely smoked. And you know what's happening now is people are watching these gas prices go up. Just raise your hand in the chat if you have, at the very least, viewed electric cars in the last month. If you've looked at it, thought to yourself, man, I wish I could get an electric car. If you've bought an electric car, if you're currently looking for an electric car. Is that true? Is that true, Namaste? Turns out that the nuclear dolphins is just a nickname Iran gave to their mini submarines. Is that real? Yeah, I mean, I have an electric car. It's been great. I love my V6. Yeah, dude, I stick my dick in that. We double penetrate. I take the gas. I can get to the gas station. I put in the gas, and then I kind of smush my dick in there too, and we double team my V6. Shut the fuck up. I love my V6. Why do you love an engine, you goddamn weirdo? That's so stupid. I like paying more because I have 6 cylinders. And all you pussies have 4 cylinders. I love paying more for my V6. I get 11 miles to the gallon. It's unbelievable. I do have to clean out the cum once a week, which is kind of a nightmare. But it makes loud noises when I drive. Also, it's a V6. It's a fucking V6. It's not a V10. It's not a V8. It's a fucking V6. It's like, there's like 4-cylinder, 6-cylinder, 8-cylinder, 10-cylinder, even 12. You're like one up from a 4-cylinder. I fucking love it, dude. I don't mind this. I would never turn in my V6. I raced a Charger I think it was a Charger or Challenger RT the other day. Just like pulled up at a stoplight. I drive a Kia, an electric vehicle, a Kia. It's an EV6, and it is like they're fun. And he revved his engine at me, and I laughed because I didn't think he was serious. And then he like pointed. I was like, okay, I'll race him. I killed him. I smoked him. And he lost $20 accelerating, and his car was just exploding with gas. You could just hear it's like just spit out my gum. It's so stupid. Why do you care about that? You're so full of shit. This is how far you guys will go to just continue to be dumb Republicans. I understand there's no argument for it anymore, but I'm just more comfortable with 6 cylinders. It's great. So dumb. Why are you like this? Why are you like this? I had a piece of shit Hyundai before that, and it got great gas mileage. I feel that, and I didn't drive that much. I drive a little more now, but I didn't drive that much at the time. Great gas mileage. You know how much it cost me going down and back, like to refill my tank, just to charge my battery? Cost me $9. $9 fucking dollars. I drove on the freeway for probably like 3.5 hours of total time on the freeway for $9. Stop it. Stop it with your gas guzzlers. It's dumb. The biggest advantage being no delay between pressing the accelerator and actually accelerating. That's true. And my car doesn't sound like it has fucking IBS when I take off. It just goes zzz. Niner Sucks says, but your car go brum, brum, brum. Your car no go brum, brum. Okay. Amy said, Walmart is the largest employer of employees dependent on federal assistance. I do not blame the workers. And Trump's like, we got to talk to Walmart. How do you do this, Walmart? How are you keeping costs so low? Actually, you're paying for all of our workers' health insurance and also helping them a little bit with like SNAP. Oh. Trump's like, can we use the government to fund our stuff? Sir, you are the government. Fuck. Damn, this isn't going to work. Damien said everybody loses in war. That's true. And also said, let's go Dollar Train. Natalie, thanks for joining the Dollar Train and doing your part as well. Also, important reminder to get your Antifa dues in. We're a third of the way through the month. Not all of you have brought in your Antifa dues, so let's make sure. Let's get back to Bernie Moreno pretending like China cars are going to be used as weapons against us so that we are stuck having shitty electric vehicles.
But all the way down the supply chain. I call it taking anti-cancer medication. We don't have cancer right here in America.
Oh, sorry, Johnny, you're right. Good morning. PSA bone biopsy procedures are painful. My bad, Johnny. I don't know how that happens. There's something in my brain. I don't know how I skipped that one over. Good to see you, though, dude. My dad's been dealing with that shit. That sucks.
And that's what these Chinese cars are. Hopefully our allies, Canada, Mexico, Latin America, Europe, starts to take some chemotherapy because they're getting clobbered. Germany just took out 1 million units of production because of Chinese infiltration into their market. They need to mirror what we're doing, but we're going to do it here first. We're going to make sure it never happens in America. It's finally time for Washington to be proactive and protect our industries and protect our American workers.
Joe Biden signed an executive order putting 100% tariffs on Chinese vehicles. Raise your hand if you have a Chinese made vehicle. It will be none of you. None of you have Chinese vehicles. Why? Because the last administration was proactive. We are now writing legislation for a problem that does not exist. And then saying, thank God we're finally being proactive on this problem that does not exist because the last administration already made sure that it won't exist. This is dumb. This is so dumb. And by the way, their vehicles are fucking great. Why are they writing this legislation? Because here's the people who are most important. Show you this real quick. David Perdue here is Trump's ambassador to China. I think he's a hedge fund guy, if I remember correctly. He lost a Senate race in, was it Georgia that he lost? Maybe he lost a governor's race. I can't remember. I think he lost in the primaries. So naturally now he's the ambassador to China. And he's some of the people that are traveling with Trump to China. And you guys just tell me, MAGA, you tell me if these people are representing you.
So in the meantime, you've got all these tech CEOs and the CEO from Boeing and a long list. There are 6.
Which one of these people represents you? Is it Apple CEO Tim Cook? Is it BlackRock CEO Larry Fink? Is it Blackstone CEO Steven Schwartzman? Is it Boeing CEO Kelly Ortberg? Is it Cargill CEO Brian Sykes? Citi CEO Jane Fraser? Is it Coherent CEO Jim Anderson? Is it GE Aerospace CEO H. Lawrence Culp? Is it Goldman Sachs David Solomon? Is it Illumina, which is so fucking close to Illuminati, by the way? Jacob Thaysen? Does Michael Maybach from MasterCard represent you, MAGA? How about Diane Powell McCormick? She's got 3 names. DPM from Meta. How's that going? It's Tim Apple, that's right. What about Sanjay Mehrotra from Micron? Is he there for you? Qualcomm's Cristiano Amon? How about Elon? Is he there for you? How about Ryan McKierney from Visa? Is he there for you? Oh, yeah. Thank God Donald Trump's headed over there to speak on behalf of the American people.
Now who will be here. What does that say to China? Well, it says we're united. I mean, it says that the business community is behind President Trump. These people want a level playing field. They're here to echo what President Trump is talking about. And they're
there to make business deals.
Welcome them, and I think the Chinese do as well. So in the meantime, you've got...
You think I would wake up and chant death to America every day? That's not true. I'd sing, I'm trying to be like Jesus. And then I turn into a socialist, and it's really fucking me up. I'm doing it. I'm trying my best to be like Jesus, and then I turn into a socialist, and that's tough. Quick, stop crying. Who's crying? I'm making fun of you. Oh, you don't know the difference. No, I'm making fun of you right now. I'm not crying. I was asking you if these people were there to represent you. These are called questions.
I don't like it when you ask me questions. It feels like crying.
All right. MAGA, get out your towels, and everybody else get out their barf bag. This is Glenn Beck, who is really fucking confused. Glenn Beck's having a tough day because Glenn Beck's job is to wake up, to turn on his show and get everybody afraid of China. Always, like China, communism, socialism, whatever it is. Despite the fact that the end goal of his religion is legitimately communism. Legitimately, it's communism. Like you go down like how they're going to live and how real communists want to live. That's like the end goal of his religion. But for a guy whose end goal is communism, he sure is afraid of communism, and he's very afraid of China. And so Glenn Beck is worried that Trump's going over to China. I will admit some of what he says is, I think, maybe warranted. But here's Glenn Beck. Sorry, A-Rod said, watching from UK, got stage 4 cancer watching you. Trust me, I have some laughs and talking about your so-called president. What a fucking tool he is. Well, first of all, thank you for watching us from across the pond. Stage 4 cancer is a motherfucker. And fuck that stage 4 cancer. And let's hope you beat that. We got Johnny here kind of going through some of the same shit. So I hope we can at least bring you a smile every once in a while. Here's Glenn Beck losing his goddamn. Is he turning into Guy Fieri? He's not turning into Guy Fieri. If we could shorten up those sides a little, he might get there.
Tomorrow?
Yeah.
Bad. I don't feel good about this.
What do you think is going to happen?
There's rumors.
I don't even want to say. I don't want to say.
Yeah, I don't
Go ahead,
either.
Jason.
Well, I mean, there are rumors, which I agree. I don't even want to say. There was a rumor floating around yesterday that I'm not even going to talk about because multiple times these things have come out, whether it's Iran or whatever, and they've all been completely false.
Everything is so scary to them.
I'm not even going to say my own thoughts. I'm too nervous to even say my thoughts.
So I don't really know, but I saw his list of attendees that he's bringing with him, and it's all very heavily economic oriented.
Yeah. Some would call them heavily economic oriented. Others would call them tech oligarchs and barons, the billionaire class. You know, the people that Donald Trump does everything for. But you can phrase it however you want.
I just wish I trusted the Secret Service. And I've never, ever said that, in my lifetime until the last few years. And I mean, I think
that's probably fair. They're not great. They don't do a very good job. I think that's probably fair.
Around the Secret Service. My
Melanie said, Jesus wants me for a sunbeam. Jesus wants me for a sunbeam. Got some ex-Mormons here in the house.
Has gotten around the Secret Service, and it's not good. It's just not good.
Amy said the sound effects are top notch today. More, please. Thank you. I'll work on it.
And I just don't trust that he's being taken care of. And I would say this: look, you kill the president of the United States. You should, I'm sure our military would be on DEFCON 2.
We just killed the president of Iran. We kidnapped Venezuela's president. Does anybody find it odd how easy it is for Americans to be like, only we're allowed to do fucked up things? If you do to us what we do to others, it's fucked up. You can't be meanies to us. We've just killed the leader of Iran. We killed negotiators, and we kidnapped somebody else's president. Does anybody else find that odd that we're just like Americans are just comfortable saying dumb shit like this?
Immediately, that is that you don't want to destabilize the republic even more. Well, some people, I guess, do. But you don't want to destabilize
the tech oligarchs. They want to destabilize the republic and eliminate democracy. Yeah.
Government. And you should say that if it was Joe Biden or anybody else. You don't want anything to happen to the president of the United States. Instability like that is bad for everyone. And
yeah, Maverick, thank you. You said we're the USA, we make the rules. Yeah, no, like I said, it's dumb. I'm not saying you don't believe it. It's just dumb. It's a weird way to live life. Like that's why nobody likes us. You're in a friend group where one person's like, I'm Tim, I make the rules. You're like, why do you make the rules? I have the most guns. You're like, fuck, I guess Tim makes the rules. Would you like that person? No. Would Tim like it? For sure. But that's kind of like the difference between our ideologies. It's this, like, just, we got a big dick. We're going to wave it around. I think it's a shitty way to, and a really, like, fragile way to act as a world power. I think like diplomacy is so much more difficult, takes so much more intelligence, takes sacrifice, but it builds stronger bonds and more trust. But we've become a country where like we don't do diplomacy. We just threaten you with our big guns. We're pussies. Yeah, bullies, but pussies. It's the same thing. Bullies are all pussies.
Who has more to lose in the world?
Looks like Fax's brother. This is Steve before he did Ozempic. Somebody tell Steve I said that. Glenn Beck is Steve before Ozempic. Who said that before? That's unbelievable. Who said that? Joe Not Exotic. That is perfect. Take that, Steve.
Than China. He has systematically blocked China at every single corner.
No, he hasn't. All of those people that you just showed have current deals with China. All those billionaires have relationships with China, and they've been able to bypass the tariffs. Donald Trump is not winning against China. They've got everything. What has China not gotten out of these negotiations?
He had it easy. China had it easy when Joe Biden was in office. And, Trump told me one time, he said, he was...
Really? Joe Biden's the reason BYDs aren't here. And I think that was a bad move by Joe Biden. I fucking hate that. I think that, aren't we supposed to be about free market capitalism? Aren't we supposed to be about, like, Americans getting the best product? If we're so good at doing shit, then why do we have to make it so that China can't bring their product here? Because they know we'll lose. That's crazy.
Having dinner. I know I've told the story on the air. He was having dinner with President Xi.
This is my next favorite part. So this story that he absolutely believes because Trump people are just dick riders is not verified by anybody. It's just a story that we're supposed to believe he told Xi. And it is I don't doubt that Donald Trump told him this story, because this sounds like if any of your friends told you that they did this in a negotiation, you'd be like, you're a fucking liar. You're so full of shit. But Trump loves to act so tough about his negotiations with Xi and Putin. But then you see him publicly and he's on stage with them and he's like, everything that they said was correct. It's actually all of you that are lying. And he just gets the ball gag in his mouth, gets on his knees for Putin and Xi every time. But then he tells Glenn Beck that he's actually tough behind closed doors.
At Mar-a-Lago, when they killed, who was it, Jason? Do you remember? Did I tell you this story? They killed one of the guys. They killed one of the guys in Iran. Look that up. He was having dinner with the Chinese president, and it was intentional. Soleimani, yes. Yep. And so they're having dinner, and the president says to President Xi, excuse me just a second. I got to go do something for a second. Just hold on. So he gets...
Why did he give Trump that voice? Why did he make Trump sound like a deep-voiced Russian? I need to be back in 1 minute. Hold on. I will be back very quickly. What is this voice? This isn't Trump's voice. I'll be back. I just shit my pants.
To President Xi, excuse me just a second. I got to go do something for a second. Just hold on. So he gets up.
Why did he give him that voice? That's not his voice. It's so stupid. Glenn Beck's like, if I don't do it in that voice, I can't stay hard. So I'm going to have to do this. I always when I picture fucking Donald Trump, I picture him as a muscular, hairy Russian. Yeah, look, my Trump impression's not great. I agree with that. My Russian one wasn't too bad. Like, I can do deep voice Russian, who has good English.
And he walks away. He goes up into the skiff, which is up at the top of Mar-a-Lago. He goes into the skiff and he watches, our military kill Soleimani. And then he comes down and he looks right in the eye of President Xi. Sorry, I had to go kill.
Let's timeline check this. Let's see. When was Soleimani killed? Day was that January 30th, 2020. Let's go over here. Young Jamie, could you let us know, was Trump meeting with Xi on, what did we say it was? January 3rd of 2020? Let's see if there's even a chance this is true. No. No, he wasn't even here. There was no Trump-Xi meeting on January 3rd, 2020. Their last face-to-face meeting before that was the G20, June 29th of 2019. And the next major publicly documented China-related event was January 2020 was the signing of the Phase 1 trade deal, not a meeting with Xi, and that was on January 15th. So this story's made up. It's fucking unbelievable. I don't know why I didn't think of that when I was... All right, so now we have to know that this story that Glenn Beck is rock hard for is just not true. It's just on its face not true. And this is what he's using to tell you how Trump just beats President Xi.
He goes up into the skiff, which is up at the top of Mar-a-Lago. He goes into the skiff, and
I did say 30th. Sorry, January 3rd, 2020. How does my menopausal woman friend feel about you PMSing more than she does? She loves it because she likes that I can feel her pain at the same time. Thank you.
He watches, our military kill Soleimani. And then he comes down and he looks right in the eye of President Xi. Sorry, I had.
That's right. Don't forget to pay my bills today, guys. The trolls showed up today. Don't forget, got to pay my bills today.
Go kill Soleimani. And President Xi just looked at him and said, "What?" He said, "Yeah, I just had to do an operation. We just had to kill."
I just had to do an operation to kill. None of this happened.
Soleimani in Iran. And Xi was like, "Oh." And he did it intentionally. He did it. He had Xi there to show him the power of the United States. And I could just do this in the middle of a dinner.
Yeah,
It's no big deal.
None of that happened. This is just not a thing that happened. That's a good point, Jennifer. Thank you. Menopausal women don't get PMS, dumbass. So I guess I do have the same amount. I think, did they say premenopausal though? I might have read that wrong. That's a good point. I didn't catch that.
No sweat.
I've been paying attention to you. How dare you? I've responded to some of your chat, but trolls do a better job.
Later in the dinner, he said, President Xi said something. I don't remember. I'm going to butcher this story, and so
it's all right. It didn't happen, dude. Just go ahead.
Quote this part of the story.
Yeah, no, it's fine if this quote isn't exact from this meeting that didn't happen and this event that didn't happen. We will accept your apology that you don't quote it perfectly.
I can't remember all the details, but they were talking about something, and Trump said, "You don't want to do that." And Xi said, "Well, I don't know." And he said, "No, you don't want to do that. What was it? Something like, I'll make Beijing disappear." And
then he took out a map, and he had a Sharpie, and he covered up Beijing, and he's like, see what I did there? None of this happened. This just absolutely didn't happen. And look at them bricked up. Oh, we love this.
No, you're losing. I don't know what to say to this. You're losing, guys. Trump's president.
Xi kind of laughed and looked at him.
Yeah.
And Trump didn't laugh. And
then Trump took his mushroom and tapped it on Xi's forehead. And Xi was like, "Thank you, sir. I now understand the power of the United States."
He just got up and killed Soleimani. He wasn't quite sure. That's what Trump wants his adversary to always think. He wants his adversary to not be able to predict him at all.
Well, I think he has accomplished that. He's a psycho. Listen to Glenn Beck. What we really need what a good leader really is a fucking unpredictable psychopath. That's what I look for in leadership. That's true leadership. You walk into the room and they're like, "I don't know if this guy's going to shit his pants or do a magic trick or ramble incoherently or scream about the fake news. But I do know one thing. I'm going to be surprised." What a leader. What a leader. We should all strive to be better leaders like that. That's what they teach you, like, when you're running a business. Every good leadership book, 7 habits for highly effective people. Like, number 1, be totally and completely unfucking predictable. Number 2, lie about stories that are verifiably false. Number 3, use math that doesn't make any goddamn sense. Like, I'm writing this down. Number 1, be entirely unpredictable. That is the key to being a good leader. That's what we all want as the leaders of whoever, like leaders of your company, your family, the country. We just want complete psychopaths who nobody can predict. And we're just going to call that a good thing.
That's really good. Now, Trump gets in this term. What has he done?
Nothing.
He has destroyed the trade route.
Oh.
He has destroyed their oil. He is after them on AI.
Iran shut down the Strait of Hormuz. And then it caused their gas prices to go up. Our AI development costs about 10x what it costs to develop it in China, and China's way ahead of us on like the practical implications. The only places we're actually ahead of China in AI is how much money is invested. That's about it. Everything else, China's doing better than us. Automation, they're certainly doing better than us, and I'm not a big fan of that. It's interesting, though, to watch like the anti-China people also be Trump people, because Trump, every time he opens his mouth and every time he gives a bailout or a tax credit to one of these corporations, he's signaling like, I want to do exactly what China's doing. The only difference between what Trump wants to do here and what they do in China is that the citizens of China benefit from that because they share in the revenue. But in America, only a handful of people benefit from that, and Trump takes his cut as well. So you all get fucked, unlike the folks in China who actually see some benefit from this. But he's copying everything they're doing. Like, even the idea of using tariffs to keep Chinese products out, that's what China does to other people. That's what we've been accusing of China of doing forever.
Is hunting them down one after another with a smile on his face going, no, we're friends. We're absolutely friends. I want to be close to you, President Xi. I think we're buddies. And yet he's dismantling him. Tell me the country that has more to lose besides Iran other than China. China is his number one target. He's just doing it with a smile.
He's happy. I don't know why he keeps saying Z. He might not be able to say Xi. Aaron Parnas, Dolphin said Aaron Parnas posted an hour ago the expectations for Trump, China summit. China's not going to give any concessions. The bar has been lower. I mean, what would China possibly concede? I don't know what China could possibly concede here.
So he goes over to China, and we're just going to the people who brought us COVID? We are comfortable with him, staying in Chinese hotels, being around all the Chinese officials? I'm not.
Yeah, if China was like us, I'd be uncomfortable. But China's not out there assassinating world leaders. That's kind of a us thing.
I'm not.
He's just going to order Big Macs.
Yeah, well, I'd make all the Chinese people eat them first. The problem is, Z would kill his own people to get rid of him.
True.
I mean, it's just not safe.
All right, here's possibly what's going to happen coming out of these negotiations with China. This was Bloomberg did this.
These videos are all
a couple months ago. I want to show this, but we've talked about BYD before, the Chinese electric vehicle manufacturer, and they have now not only surpassed Tesla in electric vehicle sales across the world. They're the number one electric vehicle manufacturer in the world, but they also have now surpassed Tesla in battery storage. So one of the things that Tesla, one of their big products is batteries, like residential batteries, commercial batteries, where you can store power from solar, which you guys don't believe in anyways. But BYD now has a 15% market share, and I think Tesla's down to like 10 or 9%. So they're beating up on Tesla worldwide, and Tesla would be completely fucked if BYD was allowed to be in this country. It would destroy Tesla overnight. Their cars are better. They're far more innovative. They change their designs. They have multiple designs, and their battery storage is better. Even their capability of charging a car, they're bringing out like 5-minute charging. That's incredible. But let's talk about BYD and why I think Elon Musk is over there, and what China is like. China has maybe some leverage here. China can probably say to Trump, like, "Hey, bring our cars in there." And or our batteries in there, and we'll put pressure on Iran to open the strait. China's the one with leverage here. I don't know what leverage. Maybe I'm missing it. Where this will be my blind spot test. What leverage does Trump have for China? For my MAGA friends, can you point to like this place where Trump might have leverage? Just move to China? No, I'm just going to make America better, and your dumbass will sit here and cry about it the entire time. Well, I don't like that healthcare got better. I don't like that cars got better. I don't like that our energy is renewable. This makes me mad. I wish they would have just went to China and stopped fucking with my V6. Fentanyl? Yeah, maybe fentanyl. Maybe that. Hegemony. Aren't BYDs known for questionable performance in cold weather? I think what they're known for is being innovative and the number one selling vehicle. I don't know anything about cold weather with them. I mean, do we have leverage here? What am I missing? To be fair, Teslas have questionable performance in all weather. Why are you bringing up? I'm asking, like, no, I'm asking you what leverage Trump has. Why do you keep saying U.S. hegemony? How, is Trump going to use that as leverage? Or are you just trying to, like, not have this conversation? Trump's leverage is that we're the best? Is that his leverage? We're the best. Is that what you're saying? Okay. All right. Well, he can say that. I don't know how much of that leverage that it might be true. We do have a massive economy. I don't know how he uses that as leverage necessarily. All right. Snoopy, thank you for the super chat. Bob Vest said, talking about Trump is your generic Viagra. Thank you. I'm using Orange Chew. It's the knockoff. All right. Play this video.
Over the internet.
This is what 30. Just a reminder, actually, let's see. About 2 hours left. We are crowdfunded, so anything you can do to help us knock out that gift goal that we rely on to keep going every single day would be greatly appreciated. I think I got all of those. You can do Venmo, PayPal, Cash App, or Super Chats. PayPal, Venmo, and Cash App obviously take the least, so we appreciate that. And then remember, tonight we have members-only event. So if you are a paid member, you can join us in our Discord as we watch the final episodes of, or maybe the final episodes. I don't remember where we're at, of Company Retreat. That's at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Message GenDub1 if you are a member and are not yet in the Discord. And if you want to join the Discord, that's free. You can also message GenDub1 on Discord, and she will get you an invitation to our Discord. Back to BYDs.
$7,000 gets you in China, and I promise you are not ready.
On YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok, American car influencers are hawking Chinese car brands.
If you're a rich mom in China, you're probably driving this. This is the Yangwang U8.
They're touting luxury features.
Helium is our leverage needed for science. Are we like I don't know a goddamn thing about helium. Do we produce a lot of helium?
Everything massages you.
State-of-the-art tech.
Hey, I'm astonished.
And most importantly, low prices.
All of this for $15,000.
But inflation-weary Americans watching these videos can't import the cars. Let's go back a bit.
Happy Wanna Hump Day. What's my name, RTP? Sherry. Thank you very much for the super chat. Appreciate that.
For decades, the global auto industry was really...
Our helium comes from Iran? I was unaware of that. Okay. I don't know exactly what all the uses of helium are. I'm going to take your word that it's very important.
Ruled by basically the US, Europe, Japan, and Korea.
Then China decided to get into the car business.
The Chinese government forced Western automakers or non-Chinese automakers to form joint ventures with state-owned Chinese companies. At first, they weren't very good at it because they were still new. At some point, Chinese automakers realized they were never going to beat them at gas cars. So they decided to play a different game. And the Chinese government created a national goal to develop electric vehicle technology.
我们想做的是真正从底层逻辑上改变大家对新能源车的
Helium is essential in chip manufacturing and MRI machines. Thank you. I'm completely unaware of that. I have no idea I know it can change your voice and it makes balloons float, and that's all of the helium knowledge that I possess until now. And MRI machines also use that, and it's important for chip manufacturing.
办法。
And a lot of Chinese entrepreneurs answered that call, like BYD, which started out as a battery company and then got into automotive. You also have Geely, where the founder Li Shufu started making parts for refrigerators. Xiaomi,
Fuck MRI machines, goddamn. Well, I've seen 2 comments from Tree Crew. I just want these diametrically opposed. The last comment from Tree Crew before that was, I think everything is going to turn out just fine. You got to have a positive mindset these days. It'll drive you freaking crazy. And the next thing that Tree Crew said was, fuck MRI machines. Bro, that's a crazy You got to be positive about the MRI machines. It's going to drive you crazy. And also, don't fuck MRI machines. You shouldn't do that if that's what you meant. Good Lord, that was a change. That's wild.
We're a cell phone company that has now gotten into cars because cars are becoming really software driven.
Today we're at the headquarters of Caresoft Global at our new technical center. We have many vehicles that we have disassembled and done value analysis. We've done benchmarking work on. Here we have a Tesla Model Y, and it demonstrates their usage of mega castings. In doing that, they're able to reduce the mass, reduce the number of parts, reduce the labor and the time it takes to build the vehicle. So very innovative approach. Now we see from China.
Yeah, true. I've had an MRI before. I thought that was aggressive. I didn't. Sorry, I was a little aggressive on the MRIs. I think they're useful.
Xiaoping G6, they've come forward with a very nice vehicle, and if you look close, you find there is a mega casting in the rear. There is a mega casting in the front. There is no floor in the body. It's very, very similar. It's been.
I didn't hear that MRI machines give cancer to whales. Stop it. Stop it. You guys are on one today. I needed this. I think we all needed this. I think we all needed to just take a day and realize how fucking stupid all of this is.
Imitated here. However, if you look closely and study it, you realize they've been improved upon. And we see that across the Chinese auto industry, brand by brand. This drive to imitate, to improve, to increase, and to do it very, very quickly. And we're reminded, it's not the big that eats the small. It's the fast that eat the slow. So when you
Kyle said, thanks, Moss, for keeping the Twitch chat the best chat. Twitch chat is the best chat.
You look at the speed of the Chinese auto industry, I think the traditional OEMs, those from North America, those from Europe, they get it, they understand. This cannot be left unchecked.
Car companies in the United States definitely need to worry about Chinese cars, and they are worried about Chinese cars. Even though it's basically impossible to sell them in the United States today.
The reason is a combination of tariffs and regulation that's linked to national security. In 2024, under President Biden, the United States introduced a 100% tariff on Chinese EV exports. In addition to
I could not figure out her accent. Can somebody help me with this accent? This one, she fucked me up all earlier today when I was listening. I got distracted from the video. I cannot figure out that accent.
that in early 2025, a new rule was introduced, which essentially banned the sale and import of vehicles containing technology linked to China. This in practice makes it very, very difficult for Chinese companies to import into the United States.
Even though the U.S. has these policies in place to keep Chinese cars out, they're growing almost everywhere else in the world. They have a lot of
It might have been a bad question for me to play guess the accent. This might have been a terrible decision. I feel like we're going to get xenophobic in here. I changed my mind. Don't guess the accent. That's probably not a good idea.
Share in Mexico, they're growing in Brazil, they're taking over Europe, they're big in Southeast Asia. Think of it as a global pie that's a finite size. And so when the Chinese come in and take share, that means another automaker like Toyota or Ford or Volkswagen is losing share.
It sounded like Boston. Fuck you, Boston, Brian. Fuck you, guy. Fucking socks. It sounds like Boston. We've all settled on Boston. Let's all just move on. It was Boston. Can't be xenophobic about that. We've dodged to the bad question. We've all settled on Boston. That's what it was.
Just like we're seeing the growth of physical EV exports from China, viewers in the U.S. on social media.
What you bet crash regs are dropped for Chinese autos? Oh, maybe. I just think they're going to create loopholes for... I would imagine that Tesla and some of these American manufacturers are going to have reduced restrictions. And we're going to see that American manufacturers, because they're very far behind on electric vehicles, are going to be able to form partnerships with Chinese companies similar to like BYD. Now, BYD makes these cars through a lot of partnerships with other manufacturers in China. So that's my guess, is we're so far behind that these folks are going to go over there and be like, hey, we kind of forgot to innovate. Can we get a workaround here so that we don't have to, like, the tariffs don't fuck with us, but so also our cars aren't terrible? I think that's probably what it's going to be.
are also seeing them more. Last December, YouTuber Marquez Brownlee posted a review of the Xiaomi SU7, and he was really impressed with it.
There is basically no question in my mind that if a car like this was available in the US for $42,000, that it would crush.
The review went viral with over 10 million views. It really woke Americans up to just how sophisticated Chinese cars have become.
I think the tariff still exists if you buy one in Canada and try and bring it in. I think you still have to pay the 100% tariff. I see them when I'm in Mexico all the time, but I don't think you can bypass that.
China's entry into the global auto market is very controversial because it's threatening the future of a lot of existing companies. There's really dueling narratives about what's going on. If you talk to people in the US or in the West, they'll say that China is not playing fair, that they're getting support from the government. But one thing I noticed on TikTok is that there's a really different narrative there. And what you see is that the story is more it's the US who's being unfair and hypocritical by not letting American people buy them.
While lurking on Red Note, I found out about this car. We can't sell this car because it's Chinese.
I think when people on social media see Chinese cars...
Yeah, also China is definitely funding these people. This is absolutely true. When you see, like, what's his name? I Show Speed, he went to China, he did a whole thing. Like, they get paid to do that. For the record, I would take a paid trip to China. If they want to pay me and go, I'll give my honest opinion about it, but I would take that. I think it's time for me to get paid to go on a trip to China. The more I learn about China, the more I'm like, fuck. They might be better than us. Every time we do a deep dive into China, I'm like, oh, they're taking care of their people. Even this, I looked into it yesterday, like the labor camps that are consistently talked about. They sound an awful lot like American prison, if we're being honest, and forced labor. It seems a lot like that. Perhaps more force. It's hard to tell. It's hard to gauge what information you're getting is correct. But like, if I was going to give the most honest assessment of what they're doing, it's like more forced labor than our system here, like our prison system here, but like not a lot more.
Not only are they so impressed with the technology and the price, they're also really mad because cars have become really unaffordable in the United States. The average new car price in the US is around $50,000. That's just out of reach for more and more people, especially now with inflation and high interest rates. Everyone talks about how quickly China is moving. They can design, develop, and produce a new car in 18 months versus 3 to 5 years for a Western car company. And that brings up questions of quality and reliability. But the truth is we don't know yet because EVs are still a relatively new technology. Even though there may be some...
If you travel, you learn how far the U.S. is behind on almost everything, and they want to go backwards. Yeah, somebody else said that too, that like they saw, like, I mean, technologically, you go to Beijing, like you're going to realize very quickly how far behind we are technologically.
Questions in consumers' minds. That doesn't mean that the legacy automakers aren't looking to China to learn how to make cars like they do.
What you're seeing right now is actually a lot of big European automakers engaging with Chinese technology very openly. US companies have been very hesitant, and it's been very difficult for them to do the same. So it's a really difficult balance to get right. I think the future of the US automotive industry really hinges on the question of whether or not there's going to be more openness to Chinese technology. It might mean more openness to maybe licensing some Chinese technologies. These kinds of arrangements, if done carefully, could be a real boon for the US industry. It could allow for more
The US is to Beijing what Cuba is to the US. That's I don't know about that, but that's kind of, it's not way off.
Innovation.
Even though the US has been successful so far in keeping Chinese cars physically out of the country, they can't control what people see or what people think. The Chinese cars are very hard to resist for a lot of people, and I think that puts pressure not just on US politicians, but also the rest of the auto industry to have more affordable cars that are as good as the Chinese, or else people are just eventually going to vote with their wallets.
Whether we're doing the right thing or the wrong thing, the reality is that the United States is forced to use tariffs because we are not innovative. If we were more innovative, this wouldn't be a problem. You wouldn't need 100% tariffs on Chinese vehicles if we had kept up with the times, but we didn't. And why didn't we keep up with the times? Because Republicans exist, and they get all their money from oil companies who don't want electric vehicles. And so we fight against that, and we convince a bunch of dumbass Republicans that I got to keep on my V6. I love my V6. I'd never trade my V6 for anything in the world. I'll pay $800,000 fucking dollars for a gallon of gas. I will push my fucking V6 down the road before I will drive an electric vehicle. And then now we're here. And we're way behind, and we have to use tariffs to protect our shitty manufacturing here, which is cool, right? That's so cool. All right, I do want to talk about this. I think it's really important. Yesterday, the Democrats on the what are what is their group? The whoever it is. Why am I blanking on this? Somebody help me in the chat. It's the where are we? I'm drawing a complete blank here. Who's the group that's been going around interviewing people about Epstein? Which group is it? You voted in a white supremacy in Maine. Oversight Committee. Thank you. Jesus Christ. Oversight Committee. Anyways, they went down to Palm Beach yesterday, and they held a hearing, and they had some of the survivors of Jeffrey Epstein speak, and also uncovered some of the ways that our DOJ is covering this up. And we're at the point now, and I think Garcia says this at some point, but we might just be in the situation where we have to just have a new administration, that there's just nothing we can really do about an administration who refuses to investigate this stuff. The only reason Republicans have tariffs is mushroom-headed, tiny, bald, poor manufacturing. What? I know. Yeah, that's why we have tariffs on the Chinese vehicles, because they're better than we are. Were you confused by that? Why else would we have 100% tariffs on Chinese vehicles? Technically a shadow hearing because Dems are not in power, true, and Republicans don't give a shit about this stuff. But let's hear from some of these victims.
Recognized for your opening statement.
In 2008, I just turned 18 when I met MC Square Model Management owner named Jean-Luc Brunel. Coming from a financial and stable background, I was a perfect target for coercion. I was promised modeling career beyond my dreams. In less than 6 months, MC Squared obtained an O1 visa for me, a feat nearly impossible for a teenager with almost no experience. I did not have the documentation to earn that visa. By May of 2009, I was in New York City. I was isolated, controlled in a manner I've never experienced before. Within 3 months, the agency claimed I owed them over $10,000. I had no family, no friends, or no money. MC Square controlled every aspect of my life, where I went, how I dressed, and how I looked. They provided me enough of allowance to keep me afloat, but never enough to be independent. Less than a month after I arrived to the United States, my agency sent me to a home of a registered sex offender. I was introduced to his girlfriend under the disguise that she was a photographer who helped me build my portfolio. Now I know that Jeffrey Epstein was supposed to be in jail cell.
Also said Trump pays Danes to stop wind energy. Is that true?
In June of 2008. I met him at his house right here in West Palm Beach. He was not in a jail. Jean-Luc Brunel brought me to West Palm Beach to have dinner with Epstein in July. Epstein used the names of powerful politicians to demonstrate his influence. He told me he's an investor of the very agency that promised me a career. He also spoke of his arrest that it was a game, bragging about girls visiting his cell, and his friendships with authorities. Jeffrey offered me a position at the Florida Science Foundation to handle phone calls to help me with my financial troubles. One day, his masseuse called me into his room where I was molested for the first time by Jeffrey. For the following 3 years, I was subject to ongoing rape. Jeffrey Epstein.
Let's stop talking about electric vehicle manufacturing. If we could stay on subject here. If you can't find it in your heart and in your head to listen to the victims that have not been heard by this DOJ, bounce for a second, would you? go somewhere else for a little bit. I don't want to tell mods that they need to mute everybody, but probably something that's worth hearing. And mods, short leash on Bud if you want. I don't care about that. But please, this is pretty important.
Was under house arrest for the molestation of underage girls at the exact time he was abusing me. Seeing that the fact that he could commit those acts made justice feel impossible to me, and it took my ability to seek for help. I was summoned to his residence right here in West Palm Beach. My agency relocated me to Miami to keep me closer, and only after he was released from the house arrest, I was allowed to go back to New York City, where my nightmares continued. Those years of abuse turned into a decade of fear that I still carry today. I eventually found the courage to reach out for help. I stepped forward along other survivors, hoping those who allow this to happen will be held accountable. I kept my identity protected as Jane Doe. I woke up one day with my name mentioned over 500 times. While the rich and powerful remained protected by reduction, my name was exposed to the world. Now reporters from across the globe contact me. I cannot live without looking over my shoulder. I can only imagine the long-term impact this mistake will have on my life. I wanted to be a doctor when I was a kid. So I want to end this statement with a story. In 1800, the doctor named Ignaz Semmelweis discovered something life-saving. He realized that the doctors who were performing autopsies and then immediately delivering babies without washing their hand were carrying cadaverous particles, causing women die in agony. He had evidence, he had solution. He begged the medical establishment to wash their hands to save lives. But the doctors were offended. They found it easier to protect their own reputation and maintain the status quo than to admit they were the ones causing harms. They chose their pride over the life of women, and Dr. Semmelweis was ignored, ridiculed, and eventually cast out. I see the same patterns happening today with handling of these files. Releasing my name while redacting the name of other powerful is not a mistake, it's a choice. It's a choice to prioritize the comfort of an institution over the safety of the survivors. The evidence is right here, yet those in power rather us die socially, emotionally, and physically, than admit their own complicity. I am no longer a Jane Doe, hiding in the files. I'm a woman, I'm a fighter, and I'm a witness, and I'm begging you, please wash your hands.
What kind of fucking country are we? They can't get a voice. Pam Bondi won't listen to him. Todd Blanche won't meet with them. Got a victim there that has the DOJ releasing her name, hiding pictures and documents of Trump and powerful people, doxing the victims. Is this really something you guys are proud of? I can't believe we can't get uniformity on this. There's one person that could fix this right now. Donald Trump today could go out and tell Todd Blanche, meet with every one of them, investigate every one of their claims. Why doesn't he? He's more than happy to tell them who to investigate. He's more than happy to instruct them to go investigate Comey or go after Letitia James. Happy to do all that. Why is it, do you think, Republicans, and let's have this conversation, why is it, do you think, that no Republicans showed up for this? Why aren't they putting people under oath? And why aren't they listening to these victims? Could you give me an answer for that? And but if you say Joe Biden, you're muted for 5 minutes. I want real answers. You don't get to skirt this. Why aren't they doing it? Let's get an answer then, Maverick. Why aren't they doing it? Why is Trump not pushing to get this done? I said, how can we have uniformity on this? When I push to divide, yeah, we're divided on a lot of things. That's how politics work. What I'm asking is, there's some things politically that we should have uniformity on. We can't have uniformity on this, that victims of Jeffrey Epstein should be heard and their claims should be investigated? I won't do that because this man on the internet disagrees with me on other things. So I'll just side with the pedophiles. What's the answer though, Maverick? You're here every day. Got a lot to say. What are you telling yourself right now? Yeah, so what do you tell you? So how's it not a deal breaker then? What are you doing out here defending them every day? There's other stuff they're doing that's more important than this? Watching the chat scroll. I see you, sisters. Thanks, Swish. Appreciate that. I see you guys too. Like, how's this not a deal? Yeah, thanks, Casey. Why isn't this a deal breaker? How are you Republicans? I would like you Republicans to tell me what it is that Trump does that makes you still support him when you know that this is happening. It shouldn't be a political issue. That's right. It shouldn't be, but it became one. It may end up being a deal. No, what do you mean it may end up? But why isn't it now? How's it not a deal breaker now? How do you trust anything they say when you know that they do this? We don't need to finally get Comey, James, Omar, Pelosi, Obama, and the whole gang in prison. What? That's not happening. Because the Democrats aren't going to do shit about it. So yeah, again, you're just blaming Democrats. Stop. Don't be bitches about this, please. Please give me a real answer. That's not your answer. Your answer isn't because of the Democrats. Your answer is it's not a deal breaker to most of you. What more information do you need to have, Maverick? Where are the Republicans? Not a single Republican showed up here? What more information do you need to have? Why doesn't Donald Trump call for it? Just as a human being, that is the bare minimum. You've got to understand what this does to people for their life. It is not an easy thing for an abuse victim to come forward. There's a lot of like the weird, complicated feelings with that. And there's a lot of, unfortunately, a lot of people who are victims of abuse feel some sort of shame. They feel like they're going to be judged. They feel like they're not going to be heard. So it takes a lot of courage to come forward and do these things. And you're saying, like, what do you need? What more information do you need? And how are you going to get more information without the Trump administration releasing that information? At the end of it, at the end of it, when everything's out there, let's say that after all is said and done, there's no way to tie Donald Trump to any abuse. It doesn't. How's it still not a deal breaker? He covered it up. Even if he wasn't the abuser, he covered it up. And they wonder why women choose the goddamn bear. Yeah, you wonder why. Did you get this from the Republicans? Why didn't she report it? Why didn't she immediately report it? This is why. This is why she didn't immediately report it. I need more information. I'm going to need a picture of her vagina. God damn. This should be an easy one. When you're siding with the Republicans, you're legitimately siding with Jeffrey Epstein, which is crazy. Jen said, this for all the ladies in the chat. Love you. I appreciate that, Jen. Nostri said, because that motherfucker Trump is in the files. Yeah, that's the answer. The answer is he's in the files. If it wasn't him, like, he doesn't have friends. That's the most laughable part of Trump's defense. It might hurt my friends. Bitch, you don't have friends. You've never had friends. You're in them. Amber said, this woman was horrifically abused, and then our government abused her again. Survivors do not have an obligation to perform for anyone. She deserved anonymity, and her abusers instead got it. Facts. I just, Maverick, I feel like you're being, I appreciate you being honest here, but I think you're kind of being a coward right now. It might be. Did they cover it up or did they not? They did. Are they continuing to cover it up? Yes. It doesn't matter what the end result is. They covered it up. That should be enough. I'm fucking tired of rape apologists. I hope one day you have a daughter or something and you understand the reality that daughter is facing. But that's the reality for all women, that even if they are abused, if they come forward, people are going to discredit them. And the abusers are going to be first in line. And it will be everybody else's fault. It'll be these women's fault. You'll see, they didn't come forward, so they must not be trustworthy. Oh, they knew what they were doing. Who cares if they were minors? They knew what they were doing. Oh, it was 30 years ago. The abusers are different now. That's who they were, but they've made changes. You'll give them every excuse possible. The one thing you won't do is investigate it properly and allow the truth to come out. What? No, Maverick, they are not hiding something. They will not meet. Stay with this, Maverick. They will not meet with these women. How is that not a deal breaker? We'll break it down to one thing. The DOJ refuses to talk to these victims. How is that, Maverick, not a deal breaker? The empty uphill motion don't move the needle towards justice if it isn't applied to both parties. One party is doing what do you mean? One party is exposing it. There's only one fucking party here. Jesus Christ, you're going to both sides this shit? Not weird as fuck. Why is it not a deal breaker, Maverick? Why is that not a deal breaker? I'm asking a very specific question. How is it not a deal breaker that they won't meet with the victims? Do you recognize it's not both parties involved? It's people from both parties that are involved. And one party that is actually in Congress is holding hearings, are listening to victims. And one party is not. And they're not doing it because Trump told them not to. You all fucking know this. Stop playing. Don't both sides this bad. Like, you cannot both fucking sides this. There's zero motherfucking Republicans here. The victims are speaking. There's fucking zero. Zero. Don't both sides this shit like a coward because you voted for him and you don't want to admit you got duped. Fucking zero. They didn't show up for Les Wexner's deposition. They didn't require Howard Lutnick to testify under oath. They only showed up for Bill and Hillary. And you know who showed up for Bill and Hillary? All the fucking Democrats. 100% of them that were allowed to be there. They show up 100% of the time. The Republicans showed up for Bill and Hillary, and then they're gone. The victims are speaking. Zero fucking Republicans. You can't both sides this shit. Somebody's going to take that. I'm fucked on that one. It's so pathetic that you're even doing this. You keep saying, Bam, I've seen you say it like 10 times. Well, I'm not MAGA. I'm not MAGA. Well, if you're not MAGA, holy fucking shit, effectively you are. Because you're playing both sides right now while there's not both sides here. It's not rich versus poor. It's not. It's literally the motherfucking Trump administration versus the victims of Jeffrey fucking Epstein. You bitch. You absolute fucking bitch. Stop making it something it's not. This is fucking easy. Who's in charge? Donald Trump. Who investigates? The Department of Justice. Who won't meet with the fucking victims? The Department of Justice. They are not the rich. They are the Trump administration. Who is meeting with the victims? The Democrats. You are going so far out of your way to run interference for pedophile enablers. It makes me fucking sick. It's absolutely fucking true. It's absolutely fucking true that the Trump administration is covering this up. No, they cannot declassify. No, Congress can't do that. They passed a law that said the DOJ had to declassify, and they didn't fucking do it. And there's not a goddamn thing they can do about it. This is gross, dude. This is really fucking gross that you're doing this. All because I'm not MAGA. Just admit that you were wrong. Holy Christ.
Thank you, Ms. Rose. Obviously, I think one of the true horror.
Cope? Yeah, that's exactly what I expect out of any MAGA person. Cope. Haha. We're not hearing the victims. Cope, bitch. Yeah. Enjoy fucking your hand later.
Of this investigation has been the way so many survivors continue to be traumatized, and I think this is one just really horrific example of how, even through the Transparency Act, so much.
Good point. Switch said Trump DOJ on day 144 breaking the law. # law and order.
So much horror and re-traumatization continues to happen.
All right. And then I want to get to Melanie Stansbury. I'm going to try my best not to interrupt this much. I just think they're doing a better job than I ever could. I want to get Rep. Stansbury, and then we'll shift topics.
Good morning, everyone. And I just want to start out by acknowledging our survivors who are here with us, and to those of you who spoke. People tell you all the time.
Nasser said, Maverick's a fucking idiot. Just being a bitch. Whatever you are, like, it's such cowardice.
That you're brave, and you are, but I know that it comes at great cost to yourself, great cost to your families. But I want you to
Christina said, beautifully said, crash out. It's only one side. MAGA are sick. Yeah, this is pathetic.
know, and part of why I asked the staff to hold up this picture is because you are literally changing the face of the planet by standing up and telling your stories. And even though the system is failing you again right now in Congress, you are changing the world by helping people who are survivors, who are victims, who have never had their stories told publicly, to know that they're not alone. So I want to say thank you for everything that you are doing. And I know that it's hard, but what you're doing is changing the planet right now. So thank you for holding that up. I got in early yesterday, and I went for a walk. I walked to downtown here in West Palm Beach, and then I walked across the bridge. I think, like millions of people across the country, I've seen, of course, the documentary that documents what happened here in West Palm Beach. And I wanted to walk across the bridge that survivors had told the story themselves of literally having been driven across. But I don't think that I truly understood the power, the wealth, the abuse that has happened in this community until I saw the mansion.
You really going to do this, Bad Bambi? You really going to move the goalpost now? You want to talk about Stacey Plaskett? Fuck Stacey Plaskett. It's crazy. You'll mention names. Donald Trump's in the Epstein files raping somebody. How come you didn't bring that up? Yeah, you're the fence sitter, right? You're in the middle. Stacey fucking Plaskett is who you're worried about? This administration won't listen to the victims? Stacey Plaskett obviously had bad judgment. Might be an evil person. I don't know. But you want to talk about Stacey Plaskett? Rather, when there's victims here on the screen who are talking about not being heard, and you would like us to talk about Stacey motherfucking Plaskett instead? No, we agree. We know that she was texting. We know that, bad Bambi. I'm asking you why the fuck you're talking about this when the victims are not being heard. Is it because you want to deflect right now? Bad Babby, you have to respond to me. Right? Like, I'll get rid of you. I'm tired of this shit. Why are you talking about people who aren't accused of rape? Why are you not talking about the victims right now? Why are you talking about Stacey Plaskett? Got to answer that question or I'm getting rid of you, honestly. You're gross. You're being really gross right now. I don't have I'll lose money, I'll lose viewers. I don't care. Like, we're not doing rape apology here. Stacey Plaskett makes it a both sides thing. Yeah, see, give Bad Bambi 24 hours, get fucked. Yeah. That's normal. That's normal. It's not both sides. It's not fucking both sides. That was like 8 fucking years ago, dude. That was 8 fucking years ago. Right now, the victims are sitting in front of Democrats. Republicans won't show up. You absolute fucking psychopath. We're talking about this event right now, the victims coming forward, naming names, and Republicans not showing up. Yes, there were Democrats in the files. Yes, there were Democrats who were elected representatives who helped Jeffrey Epstein. Yes, all of that's true. The current cover-up is one side and one side only. Enjoy your mute, dude. Jesus Christ. You guys will do anything but listen to the victims.
Well, I think we should really talk more about Stacey Plaskett.
And the estates, the private clubs, and how inequality is literally...
Which claim did I make? I'll back up any of those claims. Which claim? That Trump is accused of raping somebody in the Epstein files? Go read them. Multiple times he's accused of raping people. What claim would you like me to back up there? Are you unaware of this? Are you unaware that people in the Epstein files accused Donald Trump of raping them? Oh, I don't think I did say Donald Trump did. I said he's accused. I think you can go back and watch that. If I said he did, that was me misspeaking. However, he did rape E. Jean Carroll. So he is an adjudicated rapist. And if it wasn't a civil trial, he would have been convicted of rape. If they weren't outside those statute of limitations, if it could have been a criminal trial, he would have been convicted of rape. But because it was a civil trial, it had to be I think it's sexual abuse is the term. But the statute, like the statute's the same. He's an adjudicated rapist. You can call it adjudicated sexual abuser if you want to say that instead. But yeah, I'm not going out on a limb there. Jessica said, fuck every single one of you troglodytic conservative bitches. My dick is bigger than yours. Nighthawk said, keep trying to get through to them. I just want to know, like, what has Donald Trump done to deserve you just throwing away any semblance of rationality and humanity to defend him? I'm going to defend the rapists today. I'm going to watch people who were raped by Jeffrey Epstein testify, and I'm going to defend the Republicans who didn't show up. What a choice you made today.
Into the landscape here. And the reason why I wanted to start there is because there has been a lot said about the system of abuse that Epstein and Maxwell perpetrated. There has been a lot said about how grooming occurred, how recruitment happened, and how he psychologically threatened, abused, and used all these different tactics to abuse girls and women. But I want to make one thing clear here today, and I want to ask some questions about this, is we talk about the system failing. The system didn't fail. The system was designed to protect the wealthy.
By the way, I just want to point out Republicans are more upset that they think I said Trump raped somebody than the rape victims who are telling their story about rape. You'll notice that the Republicans are more upset with me right now. Me. Let's say that I did say that. I don't think I did say that. Somebody can go and clip it. If I did, I misspoke. But why are you more upset about that than that the Republicans are covering up for Jeffrey Epstein? Because we just want to defend Trump. So we will talk about anything but the fact that they're covering up for pedophiles.
The system was rigged from the beginning when those mansions were built. The system was built on inequality. The system was built on exploiting people. It's written into the landscape here in West Palm Beach. It's written into the landscape in New Mexico, where Jeffrey Epstein went to Santa Fe with his rich friends and recruited girls that he exploited and then trafficked to other rich friends that he flew to New Mexico. This wasn't failure, this was...
Thank you. 43 Shoddy said, you did not say that. I went back. I'll take those apologies from you conservatives.
A system. It was a system of exploitation, it was a system of abuse, and it was a system of power. And that's one of the things that I want to really dive into here with my short time today. Because the officials, the federal, the state, the local, the attorney generals, didn't just fail to investigate these cases, they chose not to investigate them.
And when they chose not to investigate them, let's both sides it. What happened to the investigator who chose to give Jeffrey Epstein a sweetheart deal? He got a sweetheart deal of himself and wound up in the Trump administration. There's no connection there. Trump was just best friends with Jeffrey Epstein. And then somebody who let Jeffrey Epstein off the hook just got put into the Trump administration. There's no connection there, for sure.
They chose to take bribes and kickbacks and campaign donations. The police department here in West Palm Beach chose to take a donation from Jeffrey Epstein. The police...
That's the comeback. I said Trump's best friends with a pedophile, and he's like, you're the best friends with the Communist Party. Yeah, pedophiles are worse. I think pedophiles are significantly worse than communists. For the record, I just want that out there. If somebody said your child can grow up to be a communist or a pedophile, I would choose communist. I think a lot of MAGA would choose pedophile. They follow just like their grandpappy.
And sheriffs and others in other cities and states chose to take donations. And right now, while this is not a partisan issue, this administration is choosing to not investigate the crimes that are in these files. This administration is choosing to release the names of survivors and not perpetrators. This administration is choosing to not investigate or indict a single man who committed rape of a child or woman that is in the files. And this administration is choosing to gaslight the American people while all over the world, foreign officials are arresting, investigating. A prince has been taken down, and here in the United States, our Department of Justice.
You can blame one man, Rabbit Hole, for not releasing these files. You absolutely can. You can blame Donald Trump for not releasing these files. 100%. It's 100% his fault. If he told them tomorrow to release everything, they would do it. He's the only person to blame right now. If you're disagreeing with that, you're just lying to yourself and to everybody here. You know goddamn well that Pam Bondi and Todd Blanche would not disobey a direct order from Donald Trump. There's no fucking way.
Which is sitting on millions of files, is refusing to act. That is not a failure, that is a choice. That is a system built on wealth, inequality, and exploitation of women, of girls, of children, and a system built to protect the powerful. That is a system. And it is a system that Jeffrey Epstein developed here in West Palm Beach, and then it is a system that he exported to places like the Virgin Islands, to New Mexico, and to all of the places that he operated. And so I want us to think about, as we're moving forward with this investigation, we can investigate all the hundreds or even thousands of micro decisions that were made by local police, by sheriffs, by state police, by the Department of Justice, by AGs who chose to turn a blind eye and not prosecute these crimes. But the only way we are actually going to get justice in this case is by changing the system itself. And that's exactly what you guys are doing. And it's powerful. You're literally taking on the entire world right now. And a system.
Take it one step further, Luke. Obama's biggest donors, supporters, and inner circle had close relationships with Epstein. Take that one step further. What should we do about that, Luke? We should expose them, right, Luke? We should investigate them, right, Luke? Who could do that right now? Who could choose to expose them and investigate them right now? The Department of Justice. Do they have a mandate to release this information? Oh, convenient, they fucking do. They're actually required by law to release that, and they haven't done it. Just take it one step further, please. No matter what you say about who's in those files, it boils down to the Republicans aren't releasing it. Donald Trump refuses to release it. So it doesn't matter. Talk about anybody you want. If you want justice, you need Donald Trump to do something about it, and he won't do it.
Of wealth and inequality. So I want to ask the survivors, because I feel like you get asked all the time to retell your stories, and I've read your stories. Anyone can go in the files and read your stories, but I want to hear from you what justice would look like in this case. So maybe starting here in the end.
It's always a sore subject, because I'm just like, at this point, honestly, I don't think justice will ever be served in this case. And
neither did the Democrats release it. Cool, so fucking release it and arrest everybody. Arrest every fucking Democrat. We don't care. That's why we're different than you. Cool, Democrats, the Department of Justice covered this shit up forever. Cool. Release it then. You want to solve that problem? No, you don't want to solve the problem. You want to play whataboutism. You want to be able to ignore the fact that you guys are covering up for pedophiles. Again, everything you say could be solved by Trump releasing it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. Damn's bad.
that's just my experience of the past 20 years that I've dealt with it. If I were really optimistic, and it did, I think it would be, for one, the Crime Victims' Rights Act. We have to fix that law.
The DOJ is the system, rabbit hole. Jesus Christ, dude, you're so fucking dumb. I'm attacking the whole system. I literally just said arrest motherfucking everybody. I said everybody that's on that list, arrest them. All the Democrats, arrest every fucking one of them. And you're like, how come you're only talking about one party? You absolute fucking bitch. You absolute fucking bitch. Your next sentence better be, Donald Trump should release the Epstein files. That's what your next sentence should be. No, not release the files. Donald Trump should stop blocking the release of the Epstein files. Let's see if you can be honest now. I don't care who goes down. Every fucking person who is involved should go down. I'm not a Democrat. I don't like the Democrats. But they're the ones at this hearing. So say it. No, Rabbit. Say it. Why won't Rabbit say it? You see this? Rabbit, say Donald Trump should release the Epstein files. They should have been released years ago. I agree. Say it. Put in the words, Donald Trump should stop blocking the release. Say it. No, say it. Where'd you say that? You said no argument. No, say the words. Say the words. Donald Trump should stop blocking the release of the Epstein files. Thank you. There we go. Because that fixes everything, right, Rabbit Hole? So you can stop arguing with the chat now. You can stop. Donald Trump is the only thing standing behind us and the truth, or between us. Thank you. I appreciate you saying that.
Also, education in the school systems, maybe like with the sex ed, or just there has to be more education on what grooming is, on what sex trafficking is. It's not, I think a lot.
Maybe he's sitting on it until midterms. Well, then fuck him again, right? Because then I'm going to make sure these victims aren't hurt until the midterms when I can use it. That's also gross. Now you're using victims as leverage for an election. He shouldn't do that either. So even if he's doing that, that's fucked up too. He shouldn't do that, right?
A lot of people have a picture in their head that is just not reality. And for me,
Let's play with you, Mark, then, too. We're going to play the same game with you. Politics are evil. Mark, are you saying politics are evil because they don't release the because they're not releasing the Epstein files for political gain? Is that why you're saying that? Like that politicians are evil because they won't do that because they do shit like this? Well, if he gets ousted and it still doesn't get released, then we oust the next person too, and we just keep ousting leaders until they release the Epstein files. Yes, of course it goes deeper than Trump. Mark, did you take off? I just want to know, Mark, if that's where you're saying politics are evil because they do shit like this. If that's what you're saying, then I need the next sentence to be from you that Donald Trump is evil. Donald Trump is evil for not releasing the Epstein files. If you can call all politicians evil, certainly you can call Donald Trump evil, right? Why wasn't it released years ago? You want the real answer, rabbit hole? Why is it released? Why isn't it released now? The reason that it wasn't released until now is because Congress never passed a law requiring it to be released. There's other hurdles you had to go through. It like the Ghislaine Maxwell trial was still active. And you have laws against that. You can't release all the files during an active investigation. I think that finalized in 2023. But Joe Biden and Merrick Garland could have released those files, and they deserve criticism for that. Then Congress decided to make it a law that they had to release them. Congress made it a law and forced the DOJ to release them. Now, and if we want to be honest about that, all the Democrats voted for it. The Republicans were the one who would not vote for it. And eventually they were forced to vote for it because of public pressure. And now that it is the law, now you can't blame the Republicans or the Democrats. You can basically only blame Donald Trump and the DOJ because they're in violation of the law now by not releasing all of the files and by breaking the rules like releasing victim names. So can you be critical of Biden? Yes. Merrick Garland? Yes. Congress? Yes. But the reality is that this isn't part of the real conversation. And you're doing this again. You have this default position that you want everybody to be equally bad. There is no equal here. There has only been this law one time ever. The only time this law ever existed, the Democrats voted for it 100%. 100% of the Democrats voted for it. Not 100% of the Republicans voted for it. The Republican House, the Speaker of the House, refused to allow people to vote on this because Donald Trump told him not to allow it. And now that it's been voted on and it is in the law, it's been 144 days, the Trump administration is in violation of the law. None of this has happened before. There is no equivalent to this. And your attempts to try and draw equivalency and distract from, once again, the fact that the victims are sitting here in a room with only Democrats. And I fucking hate the Democrats. It fucking sucks that like the Democrats are like looking good here, but literally all they did was show up. That's all they had to do was show up here. And there's not a single Republican in the room. And these women cannot be heard by the DOJ because the DOJ refuses to hear from them. So stop doing, like, there is no equivalency because this is a unique situation that hasn't happened. And if you're going to ask us to not do, to blame both sides, fine, we've done it. I've literally blamed the Democrats for everything that they could have done. Now, are you willing to admit that this is all the Republicans now? It's Donald Trump and Republicans who will do nothing. Don't ask us to keep blaming Democrats when the Democrats who are currently in office are getting shit done. They're doing their part, 100% of them.
Being that this happened in Palm Beach County, I think there needs to be like a building. And I think that the first 72 hours that a survivor tells their story and comes forward and says, okay, I'm ready to tell this. And it's such a crucial time. I think there needs to be something dedicated in Palm Beach County to all of our childhoods that were lost and taken. You know, when we came forward and we told our stories, man, I was treated like a criminal for.
That's a good point. Dolphin said every person in this administration says that they serve at the behest of the president constantly. They're saying we only listen to the president, which means it's Trump is the only one that's stopping it. Why can't they see that? They see it. They don't want to.
By the federal government. And I just think, I guess justice would be change.
I don't know what justice looks like anymore. I'm just blown away that this is our government that is handling this. But justice would be, like Courtney said, accountability. These people that did wrong should be held accountable for what they did to us. Of course, we know that. But do I think that is going to truly happen? Probably not. Look at how this has gone on. But education is so very important. Our kids are listening. They're watching this. They're hearing. And for the first time, for a lot of children, this is the first time they are even hearing about something like this. And so education is important. If we can't take these bad guys off the streets, let's teach our kids how to protect themselves in this. And so, but I hope the government gets it together. So, maybe get some justice.
I think justice starts with passing Virginia's law. I think that's a really great place to start because justice shouldn't have a time limit, right? I know at almost 40, like I'm about to turn 40 this year, and I'm just able to look at my abuse. I'm just able to sit and write it and read it. And so I think there are a lot of survivors who have never come forward. So that would be a start, passing Virginia's law, changing the statute of limitations. There's a culture shift that really needs to happen where the blame needs to be placed on the perpetrator and not on the victim, similar to Courtney's experience. My experience with law enforcement, I was so terrified, and I did feel like I was being interrogated the entire time that I was there. I thought that I was going to go to jail that day. I was like, my life is over. It didn't really make me want to talk to anybody, but the FBI came back to my home in 2019. Anyway, I'll just say it was a very threatening feeling. So having an advocate in those spaces would also be really important. But yeah, just elevating survivor rights and making sure that we start with that baseline of Virginia's law. Yeah.
So I come from a different country, and I have a job. And if you come to me and you ask me, what should I do, and ask a question about my job, I'll give you an answer. I appreciate you asking that question, but I don't know. That's your job. You guys have to figure out how to make justice, not me. And
Mons, you want to just block Aaron Farsing? It's not a serious person.
You can't give me justice. Like, when I came to this country, I thought something is going to be different. And I am shocked that this is happening here in the United States. You keep on saying this is the worst case in the United States, but it's not. It's the worst case in the world. This never happened to me in other places, and I traveled as a model all over the world. This didn't happen to me there, it happened to me here. You need to figure it out, and I hope you do. And I hope this never happens again to anybody. Keep it in the history books, don't stop fighting, don't let it go away. I wish one day we all can sit there and never hear the name, but I also hope that we will forever, so this never happens again. Good luck.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, I think that says it all. It's our job. So.
This happened in Florida, those that are asking. So I think it's important to hear those voices. Apparently, it's too much for our Justice Department. Wild to call something the Justice Department when they refuse to provide any sort of justice for these victims. And that takes a lot of courage to do that. You can see, I mean, just look at the chat. Look at how hard it is to get people. Like, everybody knows Jeffrey Epstein's a bad guy, and yet we still have this constant pushback from victims when they talk about their sexual abusers, specifically women, and it's gross and it sucks. And I don't like that world for my daughter and for those that I love that are in this world. That is their reality every single day. And I know that some of you are just like internet trolls, and some of you maybe think that this is like you're allowed to be detached from this because you have no emotional tie to any of this, and it's not impacting you. So you can kind of pretend that it doesn't impact you or that it's not real. But this is real. This is reality for so many people that are in here right now. It's something like 1 in it might even be higher. Like, is it 1 in 2 now? I think it's like 1 in 3 women will experience like sexual assault before they're out of high school. Something like 60% of women will experience, and again, if these numbers are off, I think it might be higher than that. I'm shooting low. Like 60% of women will experience some sort of sexual assault in their lifetime. And this is why women say like they choose the bear, like legitimately. It's not even a joke. It's not a real joke. Alone with a bear, there's a better chance that you make it than alone with a man, like without being abused. I've been around bears. They don't always attack. They do if they're really, really hungry. Mostly they're going to just try and leave you alone and get your food. But this is the reality that we live in, the country and the culture that we've created. And it's so gross every time we do this, and so disheartening to just see so many people want to like feel bro the shit out of this and be like, let's talk about this logically and let's do it from a both sides perspective. This is the easiest thing in the world to get right. Men, speaking specifically to you men, this is the easiest thing on earth to get right. Listen to the abuse. Just let them be heard. When women make an accusation all against a guy, by the way, that everybody knows was abusing people, was abusing children. Everybody already knows who Jeffrey Epstein is. So when you have the most visible pedophile on earth, and these women are begging to be heard, and we still have to sift through your shitty fucking comments where it's like, oh, I don't know about this. Oh, I'd like to defend Donald Trump. This is the easiest one. It was so easy that like Maverick was over here like, all right, fine. Yeah, you're right. But still some of you just can't, you can't bring yourselves to admit that these women are being ignored and that is 100% Donald Trump's fault. That's your loyalty to a man that you don't know, never met. You see him on TV. He tells you he loves you. You love him so much that you're willing to trash these women or just ignore them entirely. Like that, if you don't want to trash them, you're just like, let's just ignore them instead. Gross. It's old. All right. This is a good transition, actually. Here was a Yasemin and Sorry.
Short time ago.
And a few other. I went to, is it in the middle of this? Oh, yeah. It ends right there. This was the Oversight Dems press conference after. I wanted to show this. Because on top of Donald Trump being at the heart of this, on top of Todd Blanche now being responsible, we have to remember that Pam Bondi ignored the law, refused to meet with these people, and once it was obvious that she was in violation of the law and she was going to be held accountable for this by being hauled before Congress, she resigned or got fired, and they just let her walk away. And then she tried not to testify. Not a peep. No pressure from Trump to testify. No threats from Trump. No threats from the DOJ. If the Republicans had it their way, Pam Bondi would not be testifying. And now she's going to come in and she's going to testify, and they're not even going to videotape it. It's not going to be live.
When the bill passed the House, where the files were going to be released, and yet you heard today that volunteer reputations have been taken, because people abroad have been investigated, that the names of the survivors came out. What do you do moving forward to try to prevent that?
The better audio comes from the answer. Sorry for the question.
And to get names of the perpetrators released when your own survivors today said they don't have a lot of confidence in
Yeah, I mean, I put the blame squarely on former Attorney General Pam Bondi for that. She has had a direct hand in this cover-up from the beginning. Not only did they move slowly, but they were sloppy. We heard from survivors, as you mentioned, that their lives have been destroyed, while names of men and co-conspirators who...
Marlene said, if I get attacked by a bear, no one will accuse me of lying about the attack. True.
...committed the crimes were redacted. So I think that...
Nobody's going to ask Marlene what she was wearing when the bear attacks her. Did you say no enough time? Did you say no a lot of times? Did you write it down?
There needs to be that's why we need to hear from Pam Bondi at the end of this month under oath on camera in front of the American people, because she is to blame for this. And there should be, I believe, accountability for her and for what she did here. She has ruined lives. I mean, we heard such devastating stories today about people's children hearing these stories for the first time, women whose details of their sexual assault and abuse was revealed because of the botching of this files. The law was very clear that any personally identifiable information as it pertains to survivors should have been redacted. This is not an accident. The Department of Justice chose to do this because they want to silence people. They want this to go away. Donald Trump has made that abundantly clear. He's directed his staff to make sure that happens. And I believe that the reason these mistakes were made was, again, not an accident and at the direction of Pam Bondi.
Go ahead. And moreover, I would just say that what this proves, the fact that, none of our Republican colleagues are here today. For Democrats, this is not a midterm campaign strategy. This is not about political gamesmanship or upsmanship, but clearly for them, fighting for the naming the Epstein files in their campaigning. The Epstein files, by the way, are real people. These are real people's lives, right? That was just purely political for them.
All right. Good point. And we'll end it there. This press conference goes on for another couple of minutes, but it is. They told you they were going to release this, and then they're the ones that don't release it, and then somehow it's the Democrats' fault. I don't get that. Tanya, thank you for the $10 over on Venmo. We're going to get off some of this and heavier stuff. We're going to talk about Kash Patel, and that'll probably take up the rest of the live. He was in front of Congress. It did not go very well for him. We've got about 40 minutes left. I don't have a hard cutoff today, but because we're coming back from a members-only event, I do have some stuff I need to get done in between that, so I'll be kind of strict on the timeline. I know it's a heavy day. I appreciate you guys being here and dealing with that, and to those who it's been a struggle to hear all this stuff today, just know that we love you, and we're not going to stop talking about this as much as they want us to stop talking about it. In the meantime, we do have a fundraising goal that we have every single day to keep the lights on here. If you can help us knock that out now that we're talking about Kash Patel, that'd be greatly appreciated. First, I've got him with Chris Van Hollen and Kash Patel. I want to if we can set the mind here. Kash Patel's job is as the FBI director. When he comes in front of Congress and he has to justify the money that they're spending on the FBI, it's his job to answer questions. Now, he might not like the questions, but that's something that we all deal with. Sometimes we're in front of our boss, a friend, spouse, debate, wherever it might be, and there's questions that we're uncomfortable answering. But a good leader and a good person answers those questions honestly and doesn't resort to firing back. These are non-elected officials being questioned by elected officials. So these people that are asking Kash Patel questions, they are elected by people that pay Kash Patel's salary, and they deserve to have the questions they want to know answered. So before you put on your partisan hats and side with Kash Patel, I just want to remind you that his job is to answer fucking questions. When he comes and he asks for money, and they ask him questions, it's legitimately his job to answer those questions. So I don't want to see a bunch of bitches in here going, yeah, good for you, Kash Patel. Way to never answer questions. We don't want transparency here. He is, without a doubt, the most thin-skinned, unequipped FBI director we've ever had. He is a crybaby bitch, and we're going to watch a lot of that. And anytime we can make fun of Kash Patel is a good day for me.
Thank you. Director Sakata, you hold a position of public trust. Do you agree that you should lead by example and be held to at least the same standard of conduct as you expect of ATF agents?
Yes, sir.
Okay, alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. Do you think you should be held to the same standard as the agents? Yes. Thank you for that good answer.
And would you agree that if one of your agents was unable to perform his or her duties because of excessive drinking, you would need to take corrective action or disciplinary measures?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Oh, good answer. Thank you.
Director Seralta, same question for you with respect to the U.S. Marshal Service. Do you agree with the responses from Director Sakata.
Ranking Member Van Hollen, that would be correct. I would do that after a thorough investigation by our internal affairs.
Thank you for that quick answer.
Administrator Cole, same question to you with respect to the DEA.
Yes, sir. I would echo what Rob and Gaddy have said. After a thorough review by our OPR, Office of Professional Responsibility, yes, sir.
Director Patel, do you agree with these three gentlemen as
Yes, sir.
The FBI? So you agree, Director Patel, that if one of your agents was unable to perform his or her duties because of excessive drinking, you would need to take corrective or disciplinary action. You agree with that statement?
We would implement the inspection review process, just like these other agencies have their own internal investigations, and complete that review.
As I said in my opening remarks, I really don't care about your personal life so long as you are able to perform your public and official responsibilities, which...
Bridget said, thank you for believing women. Yeah, I'm getting tired of being thanked for literally the bare minimum, but I appreciate that donation. Thank you.
Are awesome responsibilities. Multiple reports, including reporting by The Atlantic, have alleged episodes of excessive drinking, unexplained absences, and behavior that concern current and former FBI and DOJ officials. You have publicly denied those allegations and filed a defamation lawsuit. So today, as you testify before Congress, is it your testimony that those allegations are categorically false?
Unequivocally, categorically false.
So there have been no occasions during your tenure when FBI personnel were unable to promptly reach you?
Absolutely not. You can ask my entire workforce. They hear from me at every single hour of the day, as do these great gentlemen here, as do the men and women of the interagency and state and local law enforcement.
Well, but they did ask your workforce, and your workforce said that you were drunk. Those were the leakers. That's what they said. They said that that's not the case.
In the White House.
And so there have been no occasions when your security detail had difficulty waking or locating you. Is that right?
Nope, it's a total farce. I don't even know where you get this stuff, but it doesn't make it
It's from the Atlantic article, and they're citing unnamed sources who came to them that on condition of anonymity, and I think there were 12 of them. That's where they come from, Kash. Does it not seem a little hungover today?
Well, because you say so.
I'm not saying it, Director Patel. It's been written and documented.
You are literally saying it.
No, I'm saying that these are reports, Director Patel.
No,
and
unlike your baseless reports.
And here comes the absolute temper tantrum. Get this boy a snack. He's about to throw a temper tantrum.
The only person that was slinging margaritas in El Salvador on the taxpayer dollar with a convicted gangbanging rapist was you.
You know,
Well, let's talk about this. He's talking about a video of Senator Van Hollen and Kilmar Abrego Garcia drinking margaritas. It's now been confirmed that there were no margaritas there, that those were staged. It's also not true that he is a convicted gangbanger and rapist. Everything Kash Patel just said was the opposite of true. That's what we can expect from our FBI director, to just sit on stage and instead of answering questions, yell at a senator and lie?
The only person that was slinging margaritas in El Salvador on the taxpayer dollar with a convicted gangbanging rapist was you.
You know,
slinging would be selling. He wasn't selling. He was not with a convicted gangbanging rapist, and he also wasn't drinking.
The only person that ran up a $7,000 bar tab in Washington, D.C. at the lobby bar was you.
This
so the only individual in this room.
There is a $7,000 bar bill that he paid for an evening with his staff, which he's allowed to do. And that's what Kash Patel. So Kash Patel's lying and then saying that he also once had a $7,000 bar tab because he paid for his entire staff's drinks in Washington, D.C. If any of you have drank at a nice place in D.C., $7,000 for your staff, kind of a bargain.
Room
allegations
that has been drinking
are true.
On taxpayer dime during
Are
the day.
you polygraphing?
You.
Director Patel, come on. These are serious allegations that were made against you. They're in a lawsuit that you filed.
You drinking margaritas with a gangbanger is true and on video.
It just goes to show you
running a $7,000 bar tab at the lobby bar has been filed by your own office.
Is this the temperament you want from an FBI director? This pathetic crybaby bitch that just is screaming the same two things over and over and over rather than just simply answering a question, which he can do calmly without being a hyperbolic bitch.
To
to
show,
drink during the day. That's
Chair-
you.
Mr.
This is
Chairman-
the ultimate example of hypocrisy.
Chairman-
I will not be tarnished by baseless allegations
let me
and
ask
fraudulent
the question.
statements from the media.
The fact that you mentioned that
Yeah,
indicates
yeah, you will, bitch. Yeah, you will. Even if they're baseless, it looks like it's happening. You will. You have a chance to defend them. Defend them in court. He didn't make the accusation. He asked you about a report. You could. This is not that hard. Do you deny those allegations? Yes. Okay, so you deny that people had to wake you up? Yes. Okay, do you deny drinking on the job? Yes. And then it would just be over. But instead, he has to throw this big fit. And Republicans love it. They're like, I love a man who loses his shit for no fucking reason always. That's my kind of guy. Don said, let's see, grab this. Thank you very much. Tell the maggots to take off the blinders, spit out Trump's dick, and start using their brains for more than just keeping the breeze from blowing through their skulls. Well, at least it's getting some use. Knocking the dust off. Wasn't me said Kash is a hateful little tampon gremlin. Jesus Christ. It's a tampon gremlin. All right. I'll update that. Once again, guys, we're crowdfunding about 30 minutes left. You want to help us knock out that gift goal before Jen beats me with a large bat? That'd be greatly appreciated.
don't know what you are talking about.
Chris said Antifa Do is the only show that makes me laugh and cry at the same time. There you go. We did something. That's the ADHD.
Now here, Director
The only thing I know is you're the one drinking margaritas with felons.
Actually, that's a false statement.
That's the third time he said something that's not true. What is he doing? It's not even good shit talk.
What you are talking about. Now here, Director
The only thing I know is you're the one drinking margaritas with felons.
Actually, that's
the only thing I know, he says, in front of the Senate. The only thing I know is that you were definitely drinking margaritas in this picture where I wasn't. That's the only thing Kash Patel knows. Cool.
a false statement, and I'm asking you about your statements.
I've answered that.
And I'm asking you about a particular report. And
It's not a
your
report.
testimony is, so let me ask you this.
It's not a report. What is it then?
Are you willing to take the test, it's called the audit test, that members of our active duty military and others take to determine whether they have a drink?
Now, Kash is a trained lawyer. Kash is allegedly trained. Yes, a lawyer, allegedly trained lawyer. Any good lawyer would say, fuck no to this. But Kash, before he's a lawyer, is a man with a Napoleon complex. A man who has to jump to get in every car he's ever gotten into, and his height drives his ego. And he's very impulsive. So as a trained lawyer, I would argue you should never agree to this, but he accidentally agrees to take a test, which he will absolutely never fucking take.
Problem?
I'll take any test you're willing to take.
I will take it, Director Patel. I'll take it. You ready to take it?
Let's go.
Yes or no?
Let's go. Side by
take it.
side.
I'll take it.
Side by
All right.
side. I want to see your dick. I want to pee it. Let's pee into the same cup. Let's mush them together. I'm not doing it unless I can see your dick. Whoops. He'll never take that test. Never going to take that test. But that was weird at the end when he's like, I got to be right next to you. I can't pee unless a much taller man is next to me. I want to hear your stream.
I think that the fact that you're so... Have you ordered polygraph tests of members of your team to determine how that story came about?
The FBI conducts polygraph tests all the time.
No, have you...
That is a yes, and he is a bitch. Yes, I have. Yes. Why can't they just tell us the truth? Why is everything fucking Where's Waldo? Why? Just say yes. We know what this means. You wouldn't say that if it wasn't true.
All right. I think that the fact that you're so... Have you ordered polygraph tests of members of your team to determine how that story came about?
The FBI conducts polygraph tests all the time.
No, have you ordered polygraph tests for members of your team to determine who was the source of the stories that I'm asking you about?
I don't order any polygraph tests. There's an internal inspection review process for any and all leaks, especially of baseless information at the FBI that's been in place for the last 30 years. Those processes are followed by career intelligence and agents on the ground.
So I'll take that as a yes, since you said that these were unauthorized disclosures.
It's like he's talking to a child. He is talking to a child. That child just has a gray beard.
I have another round of questioning regarding your firing people who were important to gathering intelligence with respect to Iran, but I'll wait for my second round.
Don't worry. We'll get back to Van Hollen there. So there's a good start. This is the second round of questioning from Van Hollen, where
Sir Van Hollen,
after they go the rounds, he's able to catch Kash Patel because a bunch of other people ask Kash Patel, and Kash Patel keeps repeating the lie that Van Hollen was caught drinking margaritas with a convicted rapist and gangbanger, which is not true. And so Van Hollen gets a second round towards the end, and it goes about as well as the first one.
And I are going to just have a couple of wrap-up questions, and then we'll conclude the hearing, and I'll turn to Senator Van Hollen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So, Director Patel, I've been listening carefully to your responses to some of my colleagues, and I want to start with a question that Senator Coons asked you that relates to this article where the headline is Kash Patel's latest firings ousted agents with expertise in Iran. The article says that these individuals were fired for their role in the classified documents investigations of Donald Trump. First of all, is that true?
The article, just like all the other articles you cited, is false.
Two guys, one cup.
And there's ongoing litigation, so I can't address it.
Okay. You did answer Senator Coons, and I understood your answer to be that the people that were fired, that none of them were part of the group that had Iran expertise. Is that your answer?
No, he asked if they were Iran experts. I said they were not.
What is the difference between having expertise on Iran and being an Iran expert? Look how confidently he says it too. It's such a confusing thing. Now, you said that they didn't have Iran expertise. No, I said they weren't experts on Iran. Huh.
When the group fired, did it include people who were Iran experts?
No.
Did it include people who were involved in counter-espionage activity?
Pam Bondi is really just Kash Patel in drag. That's, I don't know. It's not. It's true somehow. Somehow that's true.
With respect to Iran.
I don't have the list in front of me.
So you don't know whether or not you fired people with counter-espionage.
Is it cool to just not answer any of these questions? Is that Kash Patel's goal? I don't answer any questions.
Experience with respect to Iran. You don't know the answer to that question.
I terminated anyone and everyone that weaponized law enforcement.
I see. So it was related, obviously, to the classified documents case. So
that's not what I said.
Well, Director Patel.
It's not what he said. So what were they fired for? Where did they weaponize law enforcement? It wasn't the classified documents case. All of them worked on the classified documents case. They got fired for weaponizing law enforcement. So what case was it? Yeah, just admitted it. Honestly, just admitted it. No investigation, just you're gone. If you worked on the case, you're gone. It was weaponized.
Director Patel, I understood you to say in response to Senator Murray that you've not redirected FBI resources toward the immigration enforcement effort.
That's not what I said.
Okay. Have you redirected resources away from your core FBI responsibilities toward the mass deportation effort?
No one at the FBI has been permanently reassigned on the immigration front, and when we pull the numbers, the FBI's overall operational field expenditures surged periodically for immigration enforcement activities, including the arrest of 2,000 people with direct.
So you put people... Why doesn't he answer questions? Did you use FBI agents and reallocate them towards immigration? No, it's just that sometimes our costs surge as we put people in on deportation duty. So yes, that happened. You did reallocate your resources to help with immigration? Yes, just say yes, bro. You don't need to make your answer so fucking convoluted.
Ties to foreign terrorist organizations was 2.4%.
So, okay. So the key word there, I guess, was permanently. You have not permanently reassigned. Is that what you reassigned temporarily?
Nobody in the government answers questions.
There's 4 people there, Locke. We showed it earlier. There's 4 people on that dais there. I don't know if you call it a dais. Probably not a dais. That's for like a roast. There's 4 people there that are answering questions. 3 of them answer the question every fucking time, very quickly and with data. And one of them acts like a little bitch every time. You can go watch James Comey in front of Congress. You can go watch any former FBI director. None of them cry like this. None of them like counterpunch with dirt on the person they're talking to. This doesn't ever happen. This just happens during the Trump administration. And it's the first time you've probably ever paid attention to politics, and somebody on Fox News told you this is just how it is in politics. And you're like, oh, I believe that. And so you're saying dumb shit. But you'll never find any FBI director ever doing this. They're not supposed to be political. These aren't politicians. FBI directors show up in front of Congress and they answer questions. And the reason that normally you don't ever see them in front of Congress is because they don't act like toddlers, so it's not news. They just show up and they give you their numbers and they give you their budget and they tell you how they spent money. And that's basically it. And then they go home and none of you ever hear about it. But we hired a podcaster who literally writes children's books where Donald Trump is the king and the hero. And we made that dipshit the fucking FBI director. And here we are with a screaming toddler who won't answer questions. And Locke going,
everybody does this. This is what they always do.
Welcome to politics.
Rarely.
Surges, yes, okay.
Have you had a chance to
Your boos mean nothing to me. I've seen what you cheer. Ooh. Nighthawk, that's deep.
Listen to or read about Brian Driscoll's statements about what you said to him and the reasons for his firing?
No, I have not, sir.
So let me just say this, Mr. Director. In your response to me earlier, where you had a little bit of a
I'll do that. I'll pull up Christopher Wray.
Made a couple provably false statements.
So did you.
No.
So did you.
Mr. Director, I was reading about and asking you to respond to allegations that are made. In fact, I was giving you an opportunity to do that. And you took that opportunity. But in the process, you made these provably false statements that I know are sort of like urban legend in right-wing media about margaritas in El Salvador, which is provably false. And so coming from the mouth of an FBI director.
Did I listen to Clinton's questioning? I don't recall. I don't know. I don't remember. Yeah, those are acceptable answers. What she didn't do is scream at the person and make up lies about them drinking and refuse to answer questions that there was a clear answer to. Like for Kash Patel, we know the answers to these questions. Everybody in the room and all of you know the answer, and he's not answering them. And by the way, Hillary Clinton doesn't work for the government. She's retired, so who the fuck cares? Like, she wasn't even in the Epstein files. They asked her a bunch of questions that there's no evidence she knows the answer to. Yeah.
To make provably false statements in a hearing like this is extremely troubling. And it leads me to ask whether or not the other things you've been saying are false statements. And so because that's a provably false statement. You made a couple others that are provably false. And this is from the mouth of the FBI.
Edwin said for the awesome political comedy show featuring Kash Patel, and also to come off of Nightbot's naughty list. Good luck with that. I have no control over Nightbot. We've got about 20 minutes left, guys. I know we're way behind. Jen's going to beat my ass, but if you could help us knock out that gift goal, that'd be great. Dollar Train right now. We could knock that out quick, fast, and in a hurry. Super Chats, Venmo, Cash App, and PayPal is how we get that done, and I appreciate you guys in advance.
The only one that makes false statements is you.
My final question to you, Mr. Director, is do you know that it is a crime to lie to Congress? Do you know that? That's my last question.
That's an easy one. Yes. Why is he checking his notes here? Do you know that it's a crime to lie first of all, this face, lie in front of Congress? Just say yes.
Last question.
I have not lied to Congress.
I didn't ask you that.
Lied to Congress is you.
I'm not testifying here, sir, and I don't lie.
Maybe the next time you run up a 7,000.
Is that a hard question? Let's ask the chat. Chat, are you aware that it's a crime to lie when you're testifying in front of Congress? Let's see if the chat can do any better than Kash Patel.
I didn't lie. You're the one that's lying. If anybody's a liar, it's you. Liar, liar, pants on fire.
Just say yes, you dumb bitch. Just say fucking yes, you dumb bitch. Why is the knot on your tie the same size as your head? And where the fuck did your neck go, by the way? Did Pam Bondi take the neck when she left? Where's your neck, friend?
$1,000 bar tab, we can talk about.
Well, see, there you go. Line again. You suggested
in the FEC report. I'll post it right now.
You suggested it was public. It wasn't public money, as you know. That was for a 50-member staff party.
So it was a $7,000 bar tab.
Mr. Patel, I'm glad.
Yeah. He paid $7,000 to pay for the drinks of 50 people. What the fuck? Like, what is this accusation? You paid the bar tab of your employees, you bitch. Oh, no. What's the accusation here? No, we didn't pay for that. It wasn't public money. He paid for that. He did. It wasn't public money. He paid for that. Are you telling me a congressman can't pay a bar tab from their own pocket? That's a big that's a big scandal. No, taxpayers didn't. They just said that, dude. For fuck's sakes, are you guys dumb? They literally just said that taxpayers didn't pay for it. It's in his financial disclosures. That means it's not taxpayer. It was campaign funds. No, it was his. He paid it.
Let me just say in closing, Mr. Chairman, two things. I'm glad that you have agreed to take the test.
I don't know if he got reimbursed from campaign funds, but the charge was from him.
Regarding, whether you have alcohol problems. I'm glad you agreed.
Which, by the way, would be legal. There's nothing against the law for that. Kim said, thank you for the super chat.
With me to do that. You still haven't answered my final question. Do you know, Mr. Director, that it is a crime to lie to Congress? Do you know that?
I do not lie to Congress.
I didn't ask you that.
And you're insinuating that I am.
I asked you whether you know.
You want to correct your time in this session where you got steamrolled by the facts so you can have a Twitter narrative.
Mr.
So you can go
Director.
raise more money and spend more money on $7,000 bar
Just let the record show.
Can you just say yes? You know that it's illegal.
Give it
Chairman,
to you.
the director of the FBI apparently does not want to answer the question about whether or not it's a crime to lie to Congress, and I find that extremely troubling.
I find it troubling that you lie to the American people every day.
You are a disgrace, Mr. Director.
Not nearly as big as
the fact
you.
that you can't answer that question, I will. That concludes my questioning, Mr.
There you go. Dean, you're having some big feelings, bud. Can somebody send Dean an air hug in the chat? I don't know what I did to get under your skin today, bud, but you're really going through it. Jessica, thanks for joining the $2 train. Damien said, start the train. Thank you. And My Lady Fernandez said, here's a tiny bit toward the goal. Thank you, guys. Those little tiny bits all pay off. Appreciate you guys. All right. Now we're going to move on to Senator Murray. And when you're getting roasted by Senator Murray, it's just maybe time to hang it up. It doesn't get much better, though, for for Kash Patel.
Thank you very much.
Manners. Thank you.
Sorry,
for
Curious Red Monster said, why does Kash always sound like a chipmunk filter? He might be part chipmunk. Who knows?
Yes, Vice Chairwoman.
No worries.
And I appreciate your presence.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Director Patel, I want to start by recognizing important work by the FBI to crack down on fraud. In one case, the FBI helped bring justice multiple former business owners who orchestrated a $205 million Medicare fraud scheme on the American people. And those business owners filed nearly 1 million false claims for services that they never provided any patients, literally stealing from American taxpayers and preying on vulnerable people who were suffering from Alzheimer's and dementia and substance abuse. But thanks to the FBI, those crooks were held accountable. So I just wanted to ask you today if you would pass along my gratitude to those FBI agents for their tireless work bringing those criminals to justice.
I will, ma'am. The fraud work is often overlooked, and I greatly appreciate that.
And very important. But I do have to say, unfortunately, President Trump, the guy who says he's going after fraud, granted this man, Lawrence Duran, clemency last
Thanks, Burned Out Medic.
June. He was set free and let off the hook for the $87 million he owed in restitution.
Thanks, Paul.
And Trump granted clemency to Duran's business partner last February, cutting well short her 35-year prison term. He literally undid the important justice work the FBI served and let fraudsters off the hook, and I find that deeply disturbing. With that, I want to say, I want to take a moment to reiterate the important role of DOJ law enforcement in keeping all of us safe. Those agents and deputy marshals are absolutely critical to making sure public safety and solving crime. But I worry that instead of pursuing these child abusers or terrorists or drug traffickers or other criminals, you have our agents spending time carrying out Stephen Miller's mass deportation agenda and harassing families and children. I want to ask you, Director Patel, how many FBI agents have been reassigned to work on immigration enforcement?
No one at the FBI has been reassigned to work solely on immigration.
Okay. She didn't say solely. Like, how many got reassigned, right?
Well, I would differ with you because according to the Cato Institute, more than 2,000 FBI agents were reassigned to work on.
2,000. Oh God, this is so pathetic. We're such a joke of a country. Get rid. You guys can't be happy. Aren't you embarrassed with Kash Patel? Couldn't you? There's somebody better than this. There's no way this is your best. You don't need to stick with him. There's no way you're proud of this.
Immigration enforcement in 2025. By the way, it's not just the FBI. More than 2,000 agents from the DEA, more than 600 from the Marshal Service.
Christy says, happy hump day. Thank you. I hope all of you get some humping in today. For those of you who have somebody to hump, congratulations. And for our incel friends, a couch, a pocket pussy, whatever you're going to hump into, I hope you have a great hump day.
And more than 1,000 ATF agents are spending their time on immigration enforcement. That has really pulled critical, highly trained assets off of work to keep our communities safe from drugs and guns and other threats. And I find that deeply disturbing. Now, Director Patel, I want to ask you about a number of extremely troubling stories recently about your leadership and temperament and what's happened to the FBI with you at the top. And in response to all
please remember leadership. If you are a good leader, you're not going to have dozens of people leaking. Good leaders don't have that. Good leaders are respected by everybody. When Kash Patel is going to end this by bragging about what a great leader he is by using statistics, but like good leaders lead. The people that work under you, if you're a good leader, don't complain about you. They don't go leak about you. If you were a good leader, the people under you would be doing their job well and they wouldn't be complaining.
Concerns about your leadership. Instead of righting the ship, you've taken to polygraphing your employees to scare them and attempt to rat out leakers. There are reports that you're using FBI resources to investigate journalists for reporting what's going on, and that is absolutely not what this committee intended when we funded the Bureau. So can you commit to this committee today that no agent hours have been pulled from other work like
So I can say this because I'm tinier than Crazy Eyes with his tiny self and tiny voice. I bet he jockeyed greyhounds in his past life.
Counterterrorism or violent crime investigations to work on matters related to negative press about you or your personal lawsuit?
Kash may not
Senator,
be an organic
I greatly
entity.
appreciate the question, and I can tell you unequivocally, this FBI is targeting and investigating no journalists. This FBI is targeting no journalists. The Obama and Biden administrations targeted dozens of journalists, sent out 1,200 interviews.
I didn't ask you about the Biden administration. I asked if you can commit to this committee that no agent hours have been pulled from other work.
We have not done so.
Okay,
There
well,
were
there
2,000 that you pulled from other work, though.
are reports that are using FBI resource to investigate journalists. You are saying to this committee today that that is not true.
That's correct, ma'am.
Okay. Well, let me just say, Director Patel, we need a serious budget.
I mean, look, he won't give anybody names and he won't give anybody information, but there are multiple reports of reporters being investigated. We know that reporters have been arrested and detained. I'm sorry, I just don't believe that. Did it just happened to be detained, not under investigation? Did we miss yet? If we remember yesterday, did we miss that when the threat assessment came out? Basically, looks like our government is just calling everybody on the left a threat to democracy.
But we also need serious leadership. And I will say this:
Seems like it's lying under oath. I mean, again, they'll have to prove it. They're going to have to now go to the inspector general, and they're going to have to look for internal communications. But yeah. But then what'll happen? Like this is the thing. This is why they're able to lie like this. And Kash Patel knows this. He can go lie in front of Congress, and then Trump's going to allow him to leave, and then he's gonna give him a pardon, and then they may or may not challenge that pardon, and Kash Patel probably just won't show up, and he'll probably never be held accountable. They all know that there's not a great deal that Congress can actually do because congressional subpoenas don't carry any weight anymore since January 6th, when every Republican who was subpoenaed by Congress refused to show up, and now everyone's like, well, if they don't have to show up, we don't have to show up, and now we have a feckless Congress.
Priority in Trump's overall budget, and it isn't law and order, it is war. Because while Trump is proposing cuts to programs that really do keep people safe,
Thank you, Edward.
He wants to increase war spending by $500 billion. And I don't need to tell anyone here we are not going to bomb our way to safer communities. So I intend to help rip that budget up and write bills that keep families safe. But beyond that budget, we need serious leadership at the FBI that the American people can trust. And I am deeply concerned about the reports that
that's a good point. Obviously, he's literally targeting the Atlantic reporter who broke the story on him. I mean, they're suing them. He says that they're not being investigated. I think perhaps he can sneak out there and say suing them is not the same as investigating them. Yeah, maybe he can weasel out that way.
Leadership has not been serious. We need somebody at this agency who's focused on solving criminal cases, not passing out branded
Who got arrested and detained? Well, Don Lemon did. The student journalist that got arrested for writing the article about Palestine got arrested. There's at least 2.
Or jetting around the globe. Your job is to be reachable. And I know Senator Van Hollen asked you about this, but I got to say, if you want to pass out liquor or pop bottles in a locker room, stick to podcasting. Leave law and order to people who really do care about justice and appearances. That is really critical. And it's what I am really deeply concerned about, and so are many people. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Can I respond?
Yeah, Steve, even if you think Don broke the law, which I would disagree with that, I don't think Don Lemon's going to be held liable for anything. I don't think that there's going to be, I think that case will go absolutely nowhere. But even if he did, that would mean that he got arrested, right? And that was the question. The question from Locke said, who got arrested? Who got arrested and detained? Don Lemon. And I don't remember that student reporter's name. You guys can find the student reporter's name. That was the question that was asked. So I answered it correctly, right?
This is what real leadership looks like at the FBI. Every one of you was given it.
I brought you a prop.
These are stats. Real leadership is determined by the people around you and how they view you, and they think you're kind of a fucking joke. Your stats don't mean anything when it comes to leadership. It could talk about effectiveness, and then we debate like whether or not that effectiveness was because of you or in spite of you. And it seems to me that the people in the FBI that work with Kash Patel are saying that we are accomplishing this in spite of Kash Patel.
This is what's happened under my tenure at the FBI and the Trump administration. 20-point drop in the homicide rate, 45,000 violent offenders arrested last year, twice as many as 2024, 2,450 criminal gangs disrupted. That's a 322% increase from 2024. 6,900 child victims have been located since I've been in the seat. That's a 144% increase. 2,900.
That's great. This doesn't have anything to do with the fact that you were drinking on the job. See how he doesn't answer any of these questions? He just wants to tell you that because if the FBI does well, then that must mean that he wasn't drinking.
100 child predators and human traffickers arrested. That's a 70% increase.
Well, it's crazy to bring up child predators while covering up the Epstein files. Is that on there? Is that on the printout there? Did you have on the printout actively covering up the Epstein files?
And we've arrested 8 of the top 10 most wanted fugitives in the world in 14 months. That's twice as many in the 4 years combined. That is what the men and women of the FBI are doing, well-resourced. Everyone should take a look at this. If people want to continue the baseless, fraudulent, false personal attacks at me, that's great. Keep the target on me, as I've always said, but the mission has never been better.
Mr. Chairman, if
Cool. Good. Cool. But could you stop being shitty? Keep the target on me. I don't care. You seem to care a lot. You seem to get very worked up about the target being on you.
I could just respond in the
Senator
last
Murray.
one. I appreciate the work of our FBI agents, but leadership, serious leadership, is a concern. And we are seeing the pictures of passing out branded bourbon and what happened at the Olympics, and jetting around the globe and all of the rest of it. And that, I will say again, Mr. Chairman, is of deep concern to me. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Senator Fisher.
All right. Thank you, guys. Let me read a couple comments here. We almost damn near knocked out that goal. I got one more, 2 more videos, then we'll be out of here. Laura said, fuck Donald Trump. Thank you, Laura. Kim said, thanks for all your hard work. Sab, formerly Savage Mom, said, Antifa dudes, fuck you, Robert, and thank you for all you do. I think the thank you was probably for me, not for Robert. But if it was for Robert, then Robert, thanks for all you do as well. I think I got that from Edward. I'm pretty sure. All right. One more. I just want to show, this was, I think it's Chris Wright. Is that right? Yeah. This is Senator, Congressman, I don't know if Senator or Congressman Pallone. You can use them interchangeably.
Yeah,
Congressman Pallone with Chris Wright. And I just think this is funny. This is me petty. I'm going to admit that this is just me being petty. I love when people call out the cuckery of Republicans and their fealty to Donald Trump. So this is just a way to feel good as we head out, and then I'll have one more video. Florida Girl Dad said, Dollar Train and MAGA gargle balls. Do it. Don't be afraid. Try it. Give it a shot. You might like it.
Yields back. The chair now recognizes the ranking member from for the full committee, the gentleman from New Jersey, 5 minutes for questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Secretary, you know, sometimes I almost feel sorry for you, to be honest. I mean, you keep saying how the president has to show strength. This is the weakest president. He looks like a weakling. He talks about victory. Meanwhile, Iran, China, Russia, they just eat our lunch. That's the bottom line. He has to have the Chinese intervene to get a ceasefire. He wants to lift the sanctions on Iran, lift the sanctions on Russia. How is it that that's strength? That's weakness. But more important than anything is my constituents don't believe in this war. And the president keeps saying that the reason that prices for gas are going up and probably going to go up even further is because we have to fight this war. We don't have to fight this war. This war must end. And no one here is willing to sacrifice higher prices for everything for an unjust, illegal war. And I know you can't say that the war is unjust or illegal because you work for the president. I understand that. That's why I almost feel sorry for you having to be here today to justify what's going on here. But let me just ask you this. I mentioned that you tweeted, and this is...
We've hit the pity stage where the members of Congress feel so bad for these members of the Trump administration that they have to show up and lie and kiss Donald Trump's ass when it's going so badly. We've gotten to the pity stage.
And I quote, the U.S. Navy successfully escorted an oil tanker through the Strait of Hormuz to ensure oil remains flowing to global markets. And as a result...
Ziggy Bear, I'm not a Democrat, bud. Just pay attention to this. Just try and stick on topic. Don't get stuck in this both sides shit. I'm not a Democrat. They didn't do a lot. I was heavily critical of the Biden administration. Just talk about this, would you?
Of that tweet, the stock market and oil markets reacted sharply until the rest of the Trump administration had to come out and contradict your statement, which was then deleted. My concern is that the Trump administration is trying to influence the stock market, and that a lot of what they do every day is to try to influence the stock market when it comes to energy. And I'm hopeful that that's not for personal gain of the president or others in his administration, although I think there's a lot of evidence.
Thank you, Lee, for knocking out that gift goal. W. Lee in the chat for the $50 over on Venmo. Appreciate that.
So that's in fact what's going on, because they don't want the market. They want to manipulate the market. So let me ask you, Secretary Wright, did you post this tweet yourself that I just mentioned?
I did not post that tweet myself, but I do take full responsibility for it. I gave us
Secretary Wright is unaware that microphones mean that you don't have to scream your voice all the way to the person you're talking to. Someone needs to let him know that this little cylindrical black thing in front of him amplifies your voice, and you don't need to scream.
I appreciate, again, I feel sorry for you.
It was a mistake.
Crude prices tumbled below $80 a barrel after your tweet, before jumping again after it was deleted. If the post was an error by staff, have you done an internal investigation to ensure that the DOE staff involved were not trading on this activity? In other words, you didn't do it, somebody else did. Did they make a buck because of it? Have you investigated that?
I'm not aware of an investigation of that, but of course I did speak to the people in my communications department that
He suffers from voice modulation syndrome. I don't know why he's yelling. There's been no fucking investigation. You guys put out a tweet that you say you didn't put out, that a member of your staff put out, and it caused energy prices to go down and then back up. And then you're like, oh, I don't know. I didn't investigate to see if the person that put that tweet out was manipulating the markets. Yeah, why would you? Why the fuck would you? Why would you even think about that?
I spoke in Colorado. They misquoted something I said. It was an honest mistake, but it was my fault to not catch it.
All right.
Well,
I would ask that you do a little investigation because
it was not an honest mistake, by the way. He said a ship went through the Strait of Hormuz, and that didn't happen. That's what the tweet said. And if you looked at it, what he said there is that there was like plans that they were going to try and get ships through. The tweet was just wrong. It's not a misquote. They just lied, and it changed prices. At the very least, that person should probably be fired. But no investigation?
I'm concerned that they're trying to manipulate the market so they can make a buck, frankly. That's what I'm concerned about. Now, let me ask you this. In your opening statement, you said you were very proud of the progress made on
Burned out medic, I'm with you on that. I'm with you.
Nuclear energy by this administration. Frankly, I don't see it at all. I don't see why you think there's any progress. But moving to nuclear energy, DOE has threatened the independence of our country's nuclear safety regulator, the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, according to press reports, which I'll ask unanimous consent to insert into the record, Mr. Chairman, if I can.
Without objection, so ordered.
At a meeting at Idaho National Lab last year, a DOE staffer named Seth Cohen said, and I quote, "The NRC is going to do whatever we tell the NRC to do." And you later promoted Mr. Cohen to be chief counsel for nuclear policy, and he spent much of the last year trying to actively undermine the NRC's safety rules. So let me ask you, do you acknowledge the importance of the NRC's independence? Do you think it's important that they be independent?
Oh, it's critically important that the NRC is dependent. It's critically important that we work closely together.
Then why is Mr. Cohen still on the job?
Mr. Cohen is a passionate guy working to advance nuclear power. He gets
doing too well.
He gets a little over his skis, and he made a comment he didn't actually mean, but he did say it. He shouldn't have said it.
They never mean it. They just never mean it. He's got so much passion about nuclear energy and using the force of government. Yeah.
So you're
he
trying
understands
to say
that fully.
he, even though he made that statement, he feels that the NRC should be independent as well.
Absolutely.
Oh, well, yeah. I don't believe it.
He said that they're going to do whatever the fuck we tell them to do, but what he really meant is they should be completely independent. For sure. For sure, that's what he really believes.
For 1 minute. Look, I want to be clear. Your department has a responsibility to uphold public confidence in nuclear energy, but critical to upholding that public confidence is maintaining an independent nuclear safety regulator, separate from the arm of the government responsible for promoting nuclear energy. And frankly, I don't think we're ever going to see progress on nuclear power on this administration unless that independence is secure, and I don't think it is today. But thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.
Well, thank you very much.
That was just me being petty, and that's how I wanted to end things today. Guys, thank you so much for being here today. I know that was a heavier day today, but it's important to cover that. And for those of you who were affected by the stuff we talked about today, just know that people fucking suck. And men, can we just be better? Like, just every day, can we just talk about, like, every day, men, let's just get like slightly better. Just slightly better every single day. I know that's asking a lot to think about improving and thinking like perhaps that not everything you believe is right and that like some people are victims. We could just be a little better each and every day. And tomorrow when you come back, be a little bit better tomorrow. Jen, did I miss anything?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Members, we'll see you tonight at 6 Pacific Standard Time, where we're going to watch the company retreat. If you're not a paid member on YouTube and Twitch and you want to join us tonight to watch those in the Discord, make sure you're a paid member and then message JenDub1, JenNDUBB1 on Discord. She'll get you into the Discord server. That'll be like an hour and a half, 2 hours tonight. I will be absolutely locked and loaded and elevated, and I'm going to eat all my vegetables before we get started. So I look forward to seeing you guys there. For the rest of you, I will see you tomorrow morning and every weekday morning, 9:30 a.m. to 1 Pacific Standard Time, right here wherever you were watching. Get outside today. Check out From Politics for a minute. Go outside and touch grass. If you can't touch grass, smoke grass, or touch grass while smoking grass. And if you can't do either of those things together, I wish you well on your journey, but I have no idea what advice to even give you. What the fuck? We have a 6-7 emoji. When did that happen? Be nice to your friends, to your families, but most importantly, be nice to yourselves. Look in the mirror, give yourself a compliment, and drink lots of water. Get your boots on the motherfucking ground. Check in with your friends who are geniuses and members of Mensa. And until I see you tomorrow or the next time I see you, stay cute and cool and have a great summer.